Hey everybody, welcome to Difficult Research. How you doing? Happy Sunday, everybody. All right. Hey Joe. Hey Just Me, Beach Bum. Sis should have been a detective. Golden Rule. Carolina. Happy birthday. Happy heavenly birthday to Charles. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you. And Karen Oshwager. Oshwager. I don't know. I don't want to mess it up too bad. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Lamisa, what's going on, girl? Back to you, babe. I know they're not going to today, though. Allegedly, okay. We're not going to go late today. I'm like, I've got to reel it back in. Yeah. Thank you, Debbie. Wishing you well today, Kresha, on your uncle's heavenly birthday. Happy birthday, Charles and Judge Beresky. Why I said Beresky is beyond me. Yeah, I know. As I was thinking about this all last week, it does. She looks angry, huh? I jacked it from somebody else's thumbnail and had to clean it up, just to take away all the wording on it. So it's what I picture her to look like when she's doing all her fake smiling and stuff. So, and bonsoir to you. Happy birthday, gentlemen. Yes. Um, okay. So, one thing that I wanted to talk about today is there's a couple things actually, and we're going to talk about her appeal, but I mean, it's kind of to be expected as well. We know that that's her right, and Lori loves to flex her rights. She wants, everybody to know that after a year of being in prison, they finally, a year later, they bring you a vitamin D pill. And I'm just like, don't go to jail. Don't go to prison. Don't commit heinous acts and crimes that land you in prison where you have to bitch about that. Okay. That's kind of like where you put yourself. So it's not the world against Lori. It's Lori against Lori, like she's her own worst enemy, in my opinion. She's an interesting one for sure. Very, she's very, triggering to many, myself included. And I didn't know that until she started representing herself. Then I was like, "Oh my god, no, take this woman." Cuz yeah, send her away, like Judge Beresky did that day. So, let me grab some things real quick. I have this one ready, so I'm just going to go ahead and play this one, and you let me know what you think. And we do have one of our moderators who is not just moderator, she's my friend. And that's Detective's daughter. And anyways, her husband at the time, or well, he's still her husband, but anyways, at that time when I went up to Idaho to Boise for the trial, they let me into their home, and that was just so awesome of them. They didn't know me besides on here, and I didn't know them besides on here. And anyways, just salt of the earth people, good people, and I just really appreciate them. But like her husband worked in the jail, in the prison, the Idaho maximum, I believe, and I just want to know their take on this. Hopefully, if ever he wants to come on and share, that would be awesome. But I understand if not too. Okay, so this is Brian Enton, his own YouTube channel, and he was talking about the leaked prison cam video of Kohberger in his own in his own natural habitat is what it looks like to me. Like he's so weird. But just let me know what you think.
You have messaged me this video that appears to show Bryan Kohberger behind bars, and I've been trying to verify it all day. I've been going back and forth with sources and with the Department of Corrections. I finally just got a statement from them, which I'm going to read to you in a second. But first, I want to show you this video if you haven't already seen it. It basically looks like it's from a surveillance camera, and you can see what appears to be Bryan Kohberger in a cell. sort of standing there looking up at something, sort of looks around a little bit. You can see it looks like a mattress on the left side. He appears to be cleaning what I thought was a shoe. Then he puts the little paper towel or whatever up. And it's a strange video. I mean, I had heard from other inmates who had been in cells with him before in the area that he was sort of, OCD and wanted everything clean. And you can tell he's going through some kind of process, kind of cleaning things and then looking up at something. But there's a lot that's unclear about the video. At first, I wasn't sure where it came from. Confirmed that it did not come from Moscow, Idaho, from when he was in the Latah County Jail. Confirmed that it did not come from the Ada County Jail. So that only leaves the max security prison in Idaho where he is now. And I just received a statement from them. And I've been trying all day to go back and forth to see what they have to say about this. And this is the latest statement from them. We are aware of the videos circulating online and are investigating the matter. Again, this is Idaho Department of Corrections. We're aware of the videos circulating online and are investigating the matter. While we cannot yet confirm the veracity of the videos, if verified, they are a clear violation of IDOC policy, and the parties responsible will be held accountable up to and including termination. We caution that some videos may be fake or AI enhanced. On July 23rd and again on July 25th, IDOC leadership sent 2 emails to staff reminding them of our policies and expectations concerning professionalism and the appropriate use of technology and social media. Videotaping and publicly sharing security footage is prohibited conduct, and we will be reviewing all legal options, including criminal prosecution. The safety and security of our staff and incarcerated population remain our top priority. So they seem to be concerned about this. I have sources who I've been talking to since this morning who told me that they were aware of it, that they were investigating, and it's serious. I mean, in all my time covering crime, I cannot remember an instance where I have seen a video like this of someone incarcerated and someone of this high profile. I think I've seen pictures get leaked out, but never a full-on video like this. And what it looks like to me is perhaps someone who works at the prison was videoing one of the monitors, one of the security surveillance monitors, and took the video on their phone and maybe sent it out to someone, whatever, ended up on social media, and now it's pretty much everywhere. So it's now to the point where the Idaho Department of Corrections is responding to the video. In terms of the behavior that you see Bryan Kohberger exhibiting in the video, that doesn't really surprise me. Again, sort of the OCD tendencies, things that I've heard about him from other inmates. I want to read for you, let's grab my glasses here. So remember all the new police reports that I got? I did a video on them yesterday. I don't think anyone else has gotten them yet, but I basically got 600 pages of police reports from the Idaho State Police, everything that they had connected to the Bryan Kohberger investigation. And I did a whole video on it yesterday, and there's still a lot to get to in the reports, but I went through them all yesterday and at least got the what I found to be the most interesting and important things I didn't know. But within the new reports, there was a police report about Bryan Kohberger being in the Latah County Jail. Within the reports, there was one interview that they did with another inmate in the Latah County Jail. That's where Bryan Kohberger was when he started out, right after being arrested in Moscow before his case got moved to Ada County. And they did an interview with an inmate there, which I thought was really interesting. And I thought I'd read it to you guys. I read some of it in my video yesterday, but now that everybody's talking about this video and the behavior that Kohberger is exhibiting, I wanted to read you this full police report. It says, on March 1st, 2023, at about 1:10 p.m., ISP Detective Schwecki and I interviewed blank regarding his interactions with Kohberger. What follows is not intended to be an exact transcript of the interview. For further detail, refer to the audio recording. After being advised of his Miranda rights, confirming he had not been ordered to talk with us, advised of the purpose of the interview and that the interview would be recorded, blank provided the following statement. He couldn't remember the exact day, but believed Kohberger had been placed in their pod a few days after New Year's Day. After arriving in their pod, Kohberger immediately sat down and watched the news about his arrest, watching multiple channels that were covering the story. Kohberger said, "Wow, I'm on every channel." Kohberger was very quiet, and it was very awkward having him in the pod. Kohberger was highly intelligent and analytical, always trying to figure out what you were doing, but didn't know common knowledge things, i.e. the difference between two muscle cars. Kohberger's eyes were creepy, I guess, but Other than that, he seemed like a pretty normal guy. He didn't talk to Kohberger very much, but when he did, their conversation was casual small talk, never about Kohberger's case. Kohberger would use 3 standard size bars of soap per week due to his hour-long showers. I'd heard about that before, and excessive hand washing. And if you look in this video that's just come out, that is apparently him, you can see that his hands look really red. A lot of people have picked up on that. Kohberger's hands were red from the amount of hand washing. So there you go. He was housed with Kohberger for about 3 weeks in total before he was transferred. Kohberger told him his favorite movie was American Psycho with Christian Bale. At about 1:28 p.m., Detective Schwakey and I interviewed Blank regarding his interactions with Kohberger. What follows is not intended to be an exact transcript of the interview, so this appears to be a different inmate who they interviewed when he was in Moscow. He was housed with Kohberger from early January to February 15th, 2023. Kohberger enjoyed watching the news about his case unless it began talking about his family or friends, at which point he changed the channel immediately. As time continued, Kohberger stopped watching the news related to his case almost completely. Kohberger analyzed everything. He wanted to know why people had preference on anything. He psychoanalyzes everything. That's what the inmate said. They talked about his case sometimes, but never Kohberger's case. Kohberger spent most of the time on the communication tablet talking with people, typically his Blank, who he told to retain an attorney after he had seen Blank on the news. Kohberger washed his hands excessively, using 3 bars of soap per week, which caused his hands to always be red. Kohberger showered every day and wanted new bedding and clothes every day. Kohberger was very smart, easy to get along with, but was hard to talk to because he talked over him due to Kohberger's vocabulary and topics of conversation. Kohberger also talked about his education a lot. Kohberger loved baseball, with the Yankees being his favorite team. Kohberger also liked to watch court TV and was very interested in the Murdaugh trial. That's interesting. Once the interviews were complete, I transferred the audio recording.
Speaking of inmates being
those
online.
are 2 people that detectives with Idaho State Police interviewed when Kohberger was in jail in Moscow, which I just thought was kind of interesting in connection to this new video that's come out. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Obviously there's going to be an investigation to see who took this video, if it is real video. To me, it appears to be real video. I mean, I see why they're saying AI, but and people who I've talked to sort of behind the scenes seem to think that it's real video. So the investigation will begin to track it all down. I'll try to stay on top of it. Also, if you're interested in some of these jail components to Kohberger, check out my video from this morning where I interviewed Kevin Fixler from the Idaho Statesman. He had some interesting sources who had information about Kohberger's conversations when he was in jail in Moscow, which was pretty interesting. But and again, new video. It's all over.
That's it, right? I screen recorded this, so just know that. Okay, thank you, Denise. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. And let's see, the trash bag, rails on the toilet, and cage on the wall. It has to be a holding area. He's gross. Joe Schmo said, or Squeaky Wheel says, yeah, that looks more like a medical holding cell or a nursing station. He also won't have a big steel cage box in his cell. That room is used for something other than housing inmates. So, I mean, it's just interesting how, they were able to still capture, hold on, I just dismissed it. I got to pull it back up. It's just interesting how they have video. I'm trying to think about how I would feel if I were to see Chad, this shouldn't happen, because I mean, that's a breach in policy, procedure, something, because it looks like it's being video recorded from maybe a cell phone of a screen, maybe, I don't know. It doesn't matter either way. It's interesting, and I would just love to hear Detective's daughter's husband's take on this, because this is his arena, not so much mine, just to get somebody who's been on that side to, enlighten us, I guess, and maybe let us know his feelings about it. It's interesting to me, because this could happen to Lori. This could happen to Jody. I mean, anybody, not just the high profile cases, but also to anybody. And it's just one of those things that it's coming with the territory of having social media and everything at our beck and call, that we didn't have before. So anyways, I hope it doesn't become a trend, because it's very eerie, and I would hate to be, the victims' families on this, in this case as well. But just to have to see that, it's just like, oh my gosh. And I remember seeing Alec Murdaugh. I think it was photos though, but of him in his cell after he was sentenced to prison. Anyways, just interesting. And so some of your comments were, and y'all's jokes are funny, by the way. Uncle Charles, he was a corny joke teller. I mean, that's just what he did. And Robinette Bannister, she had sent me the most amazing gifts, right? But she sent me a box of 100 amazing corny jokes. So I just picked one. And it says, "What did the cake say to the knife? You want a piece of me?" Okay, you know what I'm saying? What do you call a pig that knows karate? A pork chop. What has that one's already been used. What has 4 wheels and flies? A garbage truck. What do you call a bear with no teeth? A gummy bear. Anyways, so that's just in memory of my dear Uncle Charles that I miss and that should be here today. I guess on that note, I can go ahead and I'm kind of going out of order, but is there ever an order with me? No, there's not. So anyways, here's Judge Beresky and what he had to say at the sentencing hearing for Lori.
To Charles's family, I just wanted to share with you that I'm sorry for your loss. Charles seemed like a great all-around guy. One of the exhibits that was put up during the first trial, I noticed something. He and I share the same birthday. So I'll remember him on my birthday.
That was nice. It was just nice. So just know that today is Judge Beresky's birthday as well. And we wish him all the birthday happiness in the world, Another one that I want to talk about is Nicholas Alaverdian. Okay, Nicholas Rossi. He's got so many names, it's unreal. August 13, 2025, he was found guilty late Wednesday of the 2008 R word, which they're going to say it anyways, of a woman he had met online before fleeing the country in an attempt to avoid prosecution. So let's jump in on that.
Covering this story so heavily all afternoon and evening, there is another major story that we need to share with you tonight. It is breaking news in downtown Salt Lake City, where Fox 13 News reporter Tylee has been at the Matheson Courthouse for the trial of Nicholas Rossi. The jury got the case late today and have come back with a verdict. Tylee, take it from there.
That's right, Bob. The jury did announce that they found Nicholas Rossi guilty of the rape case from the incident in 2008. Now, the jury, like you said, did get the case around 1 p.m. today, deliberated for 8 hours. So it was a pretty long day. Before that, there were 2 witness statements that happened. There was some closing statements as well, but it did go pretty long until we did get this verdict. Now, we were keeping a close eye in the courtroom itself. Not many reactions from the jurors or from Rossi, even when he was being handcuffed after that. Now, the defense attorney, after the clerk read the jury's verdict, did ask the judge to poll the jurors. That meant that the judge asked all the jurors if they found Rossi guilty. All 8 of them raised their hands when they were asked that. So it's been a pretty long day for everyone here, but coming to a close, there was a very visible reaction from the victim. Now, she was in the room. There were a lot of tears. She was crying, but also smiling with relief after hearing what the jurors delivered. The judge has set the sentencing date that is set for October 20th at 2 p.m. It's a Monday, but Rossi also faces other charges in Utah County. So he'll be facing those coming up later, and we'll be covering all of these charges. We'll be covering all these proceedings. We will keep you updated with the latest details as we happen and continue to follow this story closely for you. In downtown Salt Lake City, I am Tylee, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Tylee, before we let you go, you mentioned that there were closing arguments and the defense wrapped up its case. How long did the defense devote to presenting a case for Mr. Rossi?
Yes.
So there were two witnesses that did take the stand earlier today, Bob, and today's day 3, so we have gone for 2 days before today. And then closing statements, each side were only on for about an hour. So both attorneys presenting, the defense presenting a timeline of every single step that they believe happened. The state also presenting their findings in the case, kind of walking the jury through everything that they presented to be able to kind of close up all the evidence and present that so they can make a decision. But 8 hours is a pretty long time for deliberation. We were waiting here at the courthouse all day to see what the jury would come back with.
Yeah.
You have been doing a yeoman's job. I mean, you came in early for this, and you're still with us here at 10 to 10. Let me just ask you too. This
was the photo of Lori was on somebody else's thumbnail. I want to say true crime. Wait, hidden killers with Tony Beresky. Brewski. Too many Bereskys and Brewski. So yeah, I had to like clean it up a lot, but anyways, it fits, you know. I think it does. I am consistently amazed lately that legacy media doesn't offer anything more than social media. Hidden true crime, defense diaries, Joe Schmo. I put in more footwork and research than most. Just saying. Yep. And I think that's kind of what we've gotten accustomed to, you know. It's like, here's the front end of it and here's the back. Here's really what happened, you know. I've learned that in my research, you know, that it doesn't get brought out. And so it has that, maybe that one opportunity to cross with another person who may not hear of the case ever again. And that's what they're going to take away from it, is what Netflix shows, is what Hulu shows, is what East Idaho News shows, is what legacy media, you know, whatever the case may be. It's like, it's a little aggravating in that sense, you know, because the bigger, stronger narratives, the mainstream narratives, they are legacy media, you know. And then you have to you follow the money, and you find that the people who own the big mainstream media are the ones who, in my opinion, from the looks of it, are causing the chaos. And so it trickles down, you know. Just have to look at it like a big MLM, in my opinion. But, you know, get your own opinion. That's important here.
has been a very complicated.
So this case intersects with David Hamblin, the whole David Hamblin saga that I've been researching forever now. And it's not gotten any easier, for sure. You know, it's a challenge all in of itself to even talk about it, because it's so, the alleged abuse that David Hamblin is accused of it's unbelievable, but it's believable whenever you just start, when you just listen to the accounts or read the accounts, because a lot of these are, you know, they're victim statements that were written by the alleged victims. I have to say that because, you know, it's never been tried in a court of law, because it never makes it there. It's like set up to fail. And that's kind of indicative of what's going on here, y'all. Like, think about the Kentucky case with the sheriff and the judge. Think about when I was going back to look at my local cases here of some horrendous murders that happened. It's little town corruption, but it's like backed by government protection. It's weird, and it's been going on forever. And that's why I say that whenever Tylee and JJ Charles, Tammy Joe happen, that's just the front end of the story, kind of what Joe was saying. It's the front end. It's not really what's going on backstage, so to speak. It's very aggravating, because the whole truth and all the perpetrators are not being held accountable, and they're just pinning it on, or not as they're pinning it on, not as guilty people and or innocent people. You know, like, there's been a lot of innocent people who have even been put to death, but they've been prosecuted too. for whatever reason, and with technology the way that it is now, and as it advances more and more, we tend to see a little bit of leadway, it's starting to move through a little bit. So, but Nicholas Rossi, to make a longer story even longer, or a short story even longer, is Nicholas Rossi is connected to the Mormon therapist with ties to the Mormon church, and that's David Hamblin. That's the one I was telling you about, how the allegations are so crazy wicked against him and 144, not thousand, and I'm sure it's bigger, but in these few counties in southern Utah, it's prevalent. Like it's strong, this occult. It's similar to what's going on in Delphi. It's similar to what's going on in Kentucky. It's similar to what's going on here in Louisiana, Lake Charles, Louisiana. It's similar to so many of our own small town or just, local government, and it spills off into larger. And so one thing I want to start doing, which I have not done, and I'm kind of like not angry with myself, but I'm like, come on, girl, you difficult research my butt, but yeah, I did send a message to her, and I've been watching her live streams because someone had told me, or a couple people have told me, that she had mentioned, or there was a mention of Tim Ballard, and Tim Ballard is part of this clan over here. And so I'm like, whoa, how would that, how does Mormon Utah, basically, essentially, the Mormodor, how does that slap dead center with Kentucky? What is the commonality here? And it's got to be law enforcement, in my opinion. But anyways, I don't know. I wish that I could, just talk to her and see what she's got to say about it, because I have not found the exact spot where, she says that. But I mean, I'm so interested. And yes, I have a lot of commonalities with her, she's a nice person. I like her. I don't either. I think it's crazy how much Mormon stuff is always on. But, like Ward Radio, they're Mormon, what do you call that? They're active Mormons, they're believing Mormons, true believing Mormons. And if Ward Radio is like, there's no such thing as Mormon true crime. And I'm like, oh, really? Yeah, there is. There's a whole thing. You can make a whole niche out of it. Just call me Kim. Welcome. Yeah. Oh, okay. I would love to chat with her too. I did. She posted something, I think this morning, and I commented under it. Now I haven't emailed her though, so that's my bad. I need to email her. But back to what's going on here with Nicholas Alaverdian, which he has 17 different aliases too. So that, adds to the confusion of the case. But we have David Hamblin, again, the Mormon therapist with ties. It's just similar to what happened. It's like a cookie cutter pattern of what's going on between when Jody Hildebrandt, was doing all of her abuse. I'll just say abuse. She was being backed and funded by the church. We learned that from Jessie Hildebrandt, who is Jody's niece. They said that, so it just is interesting because there's also Maurice Harker, who is also a Mormon therapist that gets paid by the Mormon. Like the bishop recommends the clergy. Let me say that again. The bishop would recommend a member of the church to one of these counseling, the recommended counselors on the list of approved, Mormon therapists, I guess you could say. And then, so the member goes to the therapist. The therapist, let's just say in these cases, allegedly abuse these members. And then also the church sometimes pays for it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what are we doing here? Why? Why? And so Nicholas Alaverdian, aka Arthur Knight, aka Nicholas Rossi for sure, which is on the screen, this case, he was found guilty of rape in Salt Lake. I want to say Salt Lake, County. I'm not sure. And then he's got another case in, I want to say Orem, Utah, that's coming up. But it was just crazy because of how, as I'm investigating and looking into David Hamblin, you learn of this guy named David Leavitt. And David Leavitt is the brother of the former governor of Utah. I know. And he comes from a very powerful family in Utah. And they're accused of doing things like what happened to Tylee and like what happened to JJ. This is what I've been screaming about. Well, let me exit full screen here. And I'm going to show you what, this is Nora Jasmine. I'll grab the link and I'll share it. Y'all have got to go watch it. Please. She did a really amazing job of covering it. And I've noticed a few other creators covering it, but they don't talk about the David Leavitt, David Hamblin aspect of it, which I find interesting, you know? Anyways, you know, teach their own. I don't know why I did that. But just listen to
in Utah County.
Hello, my name is David Hamblin. I am a priest in the Lakota Native American Church, even though I'm a white man. Mitakuyasu.
Also, his ties to Utah County Attorney David Leavitt, who will not be allowed to prosecute the case.
He was my neighbor. I had a family connection.
Utah County Attorney David Leavitt is continuing to face criticism tonight from the public and legal community. He's accused of dismissing criminal charges against his friend and campaign donor.
Is it true that he donated to your campaign?
It is. It is.
Is it true that the defendant served a mission with your brother?
He did.
Leavitt explaining how he tried to broker a deal with a tribe in Montana, offering them the ability to export buffalo meat to Ukraine as part of a request he made at the same time to adopt the child.
So if we can form a bilateral agreement between the people of the Northern Cheyenne and the people of Ukraine to introduce buffalo to Western Ukraine. The first reason why I'm here is this. We want to adopt one of your people.
Noel Engels is a former analyst with Homeland Security.
This is not how you adopt a child. This is how you procure a child.
He confirmed his team had been investigating sexual allegations against Leavitt for several years.
If a man wants to program some little girl to give immoral sex anytime he wants to, you start young and give reward.
Did you hear how he just said you program? And that is very pertinent here. Okay. Just let's listen to that again. And yes, Trace, thank you. I would love to have him on if he would. Oh, wait, I just pushed the wrong button. Hold on. I'm doing too many things at one time.
It's against Leavitt for several years.
If a man wants to program some little girl to give immoral sex anytime he wants to, you start young and give rewards. I mean, it's unfortunately, I've never, it's the same way you help a child learn how to make their bed.
Hey, girl. So yeah, that's her intro, which is very good. But yes, go check out. Let me put this in the chat while I'm right here thinking about it. This is the video. I'm putting it in the chat right now of Nora Jasmine's take on the Leavitts. And I think she has a couple of videos actually. So it's here on the screen and it's in the chat for anybody in the future who's listening. So that's all tied to David Hamblin. He was the one going to, singing and whatever Native American that they found a loophole to jack. Okay. Just know that these people are not original people. And this is him, something Jaguar.
Oh, I'm a white man. Mitakuyasu.
Also, his ties to Utah County Attorney David Leavitt.
They're cousins. So just know that. Okay. And they're related through, there's a guy from early on in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints named Jacob Hamblin. Sue and the Leavitts, the Hamblins, the Leavitts, they are bloodlines matter here. Okay. Yeah. And then he just laughs about it even sicker than sick. Yes. That's so, it's like you expect him to catch himself, but he does not. Instead, he proves it. He proves it. Okay. All right. here. I'll play it again because it's very interesting. I'll point it
Some little
out.
girl to give immoral sex anytime he wants to.
Wait.
Years.
If a man wants to program some little girl to give immoral sex anytime he wants to, you start young and give rewards. I mean, it's
So right here, he has a chance to like double down on what he just said and say how it's not right or something like that. But you don't get that. You get where he goes even further into the brag, in my opinion, and further indicts himself.
unfortunately, I've never, it's the same way you help a child learn how to make their bed.
That's it. Okay. But I did notice that up here she had some more. And so here's Nicholas Alaverdian.
I'm just going to give you the facts and you decide for yourself what you think. So the last video that I did about Arthur Knight.
I can't breathe. I can't walk. People say that's not. Let me try to stand up. Let me try to stand up. Exactly. Exactly.
Or Nick Alaverdian or Nick Rossi or whatever his name is. The prosecutor in the charges that he had in Utah is David Leavitt. And when I was doing that video, I stumbled upon all these crazy things and allegations about the prosecutor in the case. And I talked about it for a little bit. And I was like, this is like, it's a whole different video on its own. And so that's what this is. Let me just start in the beginning. Question mark. No, so beginning. Question mark. The whole thing started on May 2022 when the Utah County Sheriff's Office issued a press release. The ensuing investigation discovered that other victims had previously reported similar forms of ritualistic SA and trafficking that occurred in Utah County. During the time between 1990 and 2010, portions of these allegations were confirmed. These allegations are being investigated by the Utah County Sheriff's Office in cooperation with other local and federal agencies. We are pleading with the public and encourage victims or individuals with knowledge of these crimes to contact the Utah County Sheriff's Office Special Victims Unit so that they can be offered all the assistance possible. We understand that there are individuals who have concerns for their safety and or well-being, who have been silenced. We need your help. Contact Utah County Sheriff's Office at 801-851-4010. So first, when this came out, people were like, what do you mean ritualistic? Like, what is this, satanic?
Satanic panic? Well, just know that David Leavitt was the prosecuting attorney in Utah County. Okay. And so I'm going to switch over to this.
Arthur Knight's Twitter for months now. And if you look at Arthur Knight's Twitter, for months now, he's been on the warpath looking to brand the prosecutor Leavitt as some sort of monster. And shocker, his loyal wife, Miranda, has been as well. Knight has also been blasting this as breaking news on his website, where he refers to himself as the website's chief correspondent. Take a look at the headlines, hot off the press is exclusive. David Leavitt of Utah County talks child abuse, deer blood, and mind control. Wednesday night, the Utah County Commission voted not to investigate Leavitt or Sheriff Smith, although they did say they're going to continue to discuss the subject at future meetings. Let's bring in the man himself again to address the allegations head on. Back with us
this is
again
concerning.
is Utah County Attorney David Leavitt.
This whole thing.
So how did your name get swept up in this whole thing in the first place?
Well, Dan, that's probably an entirely different show to get into the background of that, because it's crazy and it's twisted, and we can't do that in 4 minutes. The bottom line is, it's all fabricated lies, and it was discredited more than a dozen years ago by the then sitting county attorney, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. And the real story here is not so much about Arthur Knight, but the real story is, why is the Utah County Sheriff and former prosecutors from my office conspiring together with Mr. Knight to try and have change the outcome of this election? And the reason
that sounds so Lori-like, doesn't it? Like, why are they conspiring against me? Is what I'm saying. It's so politic sounding.
Former prosecutors from my office conspiring together with Mr. Knight to try and have change the outcome of this election. And the reason for that is because I am a prosecutor who's trying to restore checks and balances to the system. The prosecutor is always intended to be a check on the police, and juries are supposed to be a check on the prosecutor. And when I took office and began to implement those restorations to the system has been fighting back against me. And it's interesting that Craig Johnson, who is Mr. Rossi's former lawyer, and Mr. Lance Bastian, who is his current lawyer, are both prosecutors that used to work for me, ironically. Yeah. And they're now partnering with the sheriff, and the sheriff is partnering with Rossi. And I absolutely believe that we need to get into the bottom, not only of what these lawyers are doing, but what the sheriff is doing in partnering with a known sex offender and someone that I'm prosecuting for rape and trying to bring to justice myself. The evidence.
So the guy that he was prosecuting for a rape, okay, he's accusing. Hold on, I see you, Joe. Hold on, just one second. Okay, let me do some visuals here. Okay, so this is the guy he was going after all the way to Scotland, where Nicholas made his way to, faked his own death, all kinds of crazy stuff. Okay, well, he's saying that Nicholas Rossi, aka Arthur Knight, and his wife, I already forgot her name, starts with an M, were posting things about these same documents that I have. They're called FOIA docs. Okay, they're called grandma files, which is Utah's form of FOIA docs, and they were released in the case file. But yet, if we as creators, I think Nora Jasmine is very brave to do what she did. She's about the only one, we've dabbled in it, but I just don't know how to present it. And it's a little scary being so, I believe, close to Lori and Chad and what they did. Chad came from the same place as these people that are doing this. So it's like, I don't know what to do. It's a little scary. I'm gonna pull Joe up real quick. He came to talk about this.
Pull me up. I'm up here.
Oh, we were up. You're up.
All right. So I'm familiar with that story of that dude in Scotland, like getting tracked down and pretending to die. But where was that original story from? Like where did he commit his original crimes? The one you just had.
He committed his original crimes in Utah, but just know it goes way further back than that. It goes back to whenever, like the Franklin scandal, and like they have Boys Town, they have different scandals that have had Boy Scouts of America, all these different scandals that come to be. That's where he was in a boy's home and he got diddled, I'll just say. And then, or he alleges that he got diddled. So it's like, what is going on here? Because you've got an offender, I believe, chasing another offender who was offended. And then it's like a cycle of generational bloodlines or something. It's weird and it's hard to follow.
Oh my
gosh. Yeah. Ugh. He did fake his accent. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Did y'all see him trying to stand up?
Right.
Come on.
But this prosecutor, like I look at this prosecutor and I'm like, this guy is guilty of something. Like he just looks creepy and he talks creepy and he just like speaks a language that just doesn't seem right to me. So him right there. Yeah.
David Leavitt. He is married to Shalom, Chelom, Eastwood Leavitt. But as far as I've seen, because I've researched into her bloodline, her family of origin, and I was thinking, oh my God, is this Clint Eastwood? Because this does go back to like Tim Ballard and M. Russell Ballard and how they always have these movies and they're behind movies. But, well, I'll just say like Gordon Bowen, he was paid to do a movie about Jesus. Can you imagine an excommunicated man who is denying that he's homosexual, basically, because it's against his religion? But he was excommunicated before. He's been accused of some horrendous crime against children, and this all goes into the same bucket of offenders or alleged offenders accused by the Hamblin daughters. It's like crazy.
And who was paid $12 million to redo the church logo?
That would be Gordon Bowen. That everybody sees, that Jesus logo, that icon. It was that is Gordon Bowen. And I mean, so why is he so
make this up?
And
You can't make this up.
You
like
can't.
that, like you like I people with cognitive dissonance, you need to all just like reset just a bit, because you can't make this shit up, and it's not made up. It's not made up.
You have to, like, it matches the rest of the crazy, though. That's my thing. It doesn't just end with Chad and Lori. Now that they're in prison, okay, everybody's safe again. No. No. And I mean, Gordon Bowen designed this here, and it's a Christos, logo. But I mean, he got paid a pretty penny for that. He's also part of the U.S. Olympics with Casey Wasserman. And I'm telling you, this all treads back to, again, the top known, I guess you could say, or the people are interested in Epstein. People are interested in Diddy, but it goes even higher than that. And I've tracked the money. I followed the money all the way up above them even. So anyways, just know we're dealing with a bunch of billionaire boys, and they have their bro code, and you can't touch it.
And they think it's cute that they have Jesus exposing his right breast, when that is like an artistic thing that goes back like before Da Vinci. Like that's
just
a thing.
No. So tell them about how Mormons, because you were Mormon back in the day, you were raised that way. What was their view of this logo, like of using a cross or using like
there are no LDS churches, that's chapels and temples, like no place of worship that has a cross ever exhibited anywhere.
It's considered blasphemy.
We were told growing up that the cross represented the death of Jesus, and we don't want to focus on the death of Jesus, even though the rest of Christianity says the death of Jesus is what liberated us and freed us from our sins.
Mm-hmm.
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints says, no, we are not going to display a cross ever anywhere on any of our properties. And they don't.
Right.
You will not find one anywhere.
Yep. And I mean, it does. It goes back to, I'm trying to open this up real quick just to show y'all.
You'll find an angel Moroni at every temple, but you'll never find a cross.
Right. Well, I mean, they're changing that now, though. So keep your eyes, everybody, keep your eyes peeled on those temples, because even if especially if you're not Mormon, I'm always like, I just wanted to know where Chad and Lori's beliefs differed from that of their church, because why are they being called a cult? Like what's making them, what's causing this label? And it's interesting because it's happened before, like with the Ervil LeBaron, with the Laffertys. It's like when they get off kilter or too much attention focused on them, then they cut strings and label. And I can see the pattern of that many times over. But this is just a small little snippet I'll play of a video I made where they kind of intersect. This is Gordon Bowen. Well, it's an intro. Hold on. right. I'm going to stop it to read it. Maybe I should turn the music off and just read it. Okay. So, revelations in the story of M. Russell Ballard and Tim Ballard. So, in the story, a shocking and unsettling discovery is made on September 15, 2023. It was revealed that Gordon Bowen had issued the church statement to Vice News regarding the separation between M. Russell Ballard and Tim Ballard, which is something they've never done. People are like, that's weird. You know, why would they be releasing a church statement? And then on top of that, why would Gordon Bowen be the author of this church statement on unofficial church email, and everything to Vice News saying, oh, no. Tim Ballard has nothing to do with M. Russell Ballard. And M. Russell Ballard has very close connections to Gordon Bowen when he was alive, as well as Mitt Romney. But there's like two different camps, there's Tim Ballard and then there's Mitt and Gordon. M. Russell Ballard looked to Gordon Bowen as like a prodigal son. And I'm quoting prodigal son. That's basically what he was, that's what has been alleged. And just know that I've looked into the files of whenever Gordon Bowen was going through a divorce from Barbara Timothy, who is big money as well in the Mormon world, kind of like Stampin' Up. Okay. And he didn't get married till he was like in his 40s. And Elder Ballard he had asked Elder Ballard to, ordain them to bless their wedding, to be I don't know what you call them over there, the sealer, I don't know, to officiate their wedding. Instead, James Faust is the one who did. And it was the same day that they got married that the proclamation came out from Gordon B. Hinckley, proclamation to the world about not abusing children.
What did you say his name was?
Which one?
Faust? Like
James E. Faust. Yeah. Faust.
Oh my gosh. That's got to be another Mormon name too, because I actually
it's an apostle.
But I had a young men's teacher and his name was Tom Faust.
Yep. He's a Mormon apostle as well.
He was a good guy too. I thought he was, but
he may be, we don't know. I don't know who's involved in what, but I have my ideas, but nobody again is guilty until proven in a court of law. So it's like, okay, how many more people have to be hurt, or their lives ended anyways. But the timing of public shaming and lawsuits against Tim Ballard, it says it's quite suspicious that the public shaming of Tim Ballard happened just days before several lawsuits were filed against him by former female operatives. The allegations against him include sexual, spiritual, financial, and personal misconduct. This all came to light while he was promoting himself as a savior who had rescued thousands of children and women from the sexual slave trading industry. But it appears that his true motives were not entirely genuine. And you see this over and over again. It's not that people are alleging that Tim Ballard is a fraud. They're also alleging that he's actually trafficking when he says that he's anti-trafficking. He's trying to stop and save the world. And that is also this thing where Lori and Chad, they claim that they're trying to heal, and that's what they're all about. They're about healing and love and da. And then you have Jody and Ruby, and they're trying to, they're about healing and fixing people, and that's not it. That's not what is the product. You hear it, but you don't
the end product is light and dark, with most of the people that they didn't like being determined to be dark and being unalived.
It's very inverted. Yes.
Yeah. Inverted.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah.
There is proof of this. There have been allegations, and this goes back to what you and me started with Bishop Glenn L. Pace memo. Okay. That's basically what that memo was saying back then in the late 89, early 90, about this pervasive abuse happening in the Wasatch Wake Up. Well, that's what Julie Rowe termed it, but the Wasatch Front, which is this area in Utah, which is where Chad comes from, which is where Ruby comes from, Kevin comes from, Jody, St. George comes from, you know, Gordon Bowen plays pickleball in St. George comes from, you know what I'm saying? So it's like the same communities as David Warwick, as well, Melanie Gibbs down there in Arizona, allegedly. So I don't really know her game, but she is a frequent flyer, you know. But it's been going on, and it's come out before. There's been accusations against the prophet of the Mormon church now, the current one, against his daughter and son-in-law. And then it just never gets heard, or they pay them off and they sign NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, where this stuff never gets known. It never gets exposed. And I mean, it's like the same operation, the same movement of people that killed Tylee and JJ, Charles, Tammy, and I believe Joe. So that's where I'm at. It's crazy. I don't know. I want to pull up the part about David Leavitt when he talks about cannibalism. Let me pull this. I don't know if you want to talk for a minute.
No, the dude is just creepy. Like, he gives me creepy vibes, and that is not any indicator at all of whether or not somebody is guilty of doing something nefarious or participating in something nefarious or breaking the law or doing anything illegal. But like, when he talks, he comes across to me as almost like a politician. Like, he's trying to convince us of something that isn't necessarily true, but he wants to tell us as true, and we should just believe it based on his words. That's how he comes across to me.
I would say that's pretty on point. I found it. So this is what caught my attention. Not this actual story, but this caught my attention back in 2022. And so I was already researching into Tim Ballard and Operation Underground Railroad as of 2020. And then our cases started, or murder victims started happening in 2019. So this rolls into 2020. Then 2022, I find this story about, or it involves sex trafficking, children, sexual abuse, torture, and involving cannibalism. And so I'm just saying that these people have a lot of power, because even Dateline pulled an episode down of his David Leavitt's chase of Nicholas Alaverdian, aka Arthur Knight, the guy that just got convicted of rape in Utah. You see what I'm saying? It's like, it's crazy story. I'm going to push play.
Arthur Knight's Twitter. For months now, he's been on the warpath looking to brand the prosecutor Leavitt as some sort of monster. And shocker, his loyal wife, Miranda, has been as well. Knight has also been blasting this as breaking news on his website, where he refers to himself as the website's chief correspondent. Take a look at the headlines, hot off the presses, exclusive. David Leavitt of Utah County talks child abuse, deer blood, and mind control.
Dear blood.
Wednesday night, the Utah County Commission voted not to investigate Leavitt or Sheriff Smith, although they did say they're going to continue to discuss the subject at future meetings. Let's bring in the man himself again to address the allegations head on. Back with us again is Utah County Attorney David Leavitt. All right, so how did your name get swept up in this whole thing in the first place?
Most important, Desert Rain. Thank you.
Well, Dan, that's probably an entirely different show to get into the background of that, because it's crazy and it's twisted, and we can't do that in 4 minutes. The bottom line is, it's all fabricated lies, and it was discredited more than a dozen years ago by the then sitting county attorney.
Yeah,
it's just absolutely ridiculous. And the real story here is not so much about Arthur Knight, but the real story is, why is the Utah County Sheriff and former prosecutors from my office conspiring together with Mr. Knight to try and have change the outcome of this election? And the reason for that is because I am a prosecutor who's trying to restore checks and balances to the system. The prosecutor is always intended to be a check on the police.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I'm going to bust out the F word. Oh, for fuck's sake. I'm trying to restore checks and balances to the system. Really, dude? Anytime somebody says that, they're lying their ass off.
Just like Tim Ballard's trying to eradicate sex trafficking. Right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
These people, they have a savior complex for sure, and it shows. And I just want this to be exposed, and I've got to get better at it. You know, it's such a complex story, even more complex than Lori and Chad's.
It is.
I would say.
And it's deeper, and it goes up to more powerful channels.
Yeah.
Which can be a little bit scary at times.
Yep.
But
and I've actually felt the protection of Lori's story and Chad's story, you know, of their crimes being in the public spotlight, because it did give me some veil of protection, I felt. And it's a little nerve-wracking, you know. It's a lot to have to like make sense of during your own, you know, like everything that was going on with Lori and Chad and what they took away.
Right.
And then
you have to do your own evaluation of what's right for you and what you feel is right for Charles and JJ and Tylee.
Yeah. Promises made that I just don't want to go back on, you know, like.
And you totally did. Like, you nailed that. Like, I'm just going to say
hard.
And we're here for you. Like, whatever the repercussions are and the consequences, we're here to pick you up and cover you and protect you and whatever you need.
Well,
just say it.
And I appreciate that. I do. That helps. It does. It helps me feel a little more protected. I forgot what let me just push play. I'll remember.
When I took office and began to implement those restorations to the system system has been fighting back against me. And it's interesting that Craig Johnson, who is Mr. Rossi's former lawyer, and Mr. Lance Bastian, who is his current lawyer, are both prosecutors that used to work for me, ironically. And they're now partnering with the sheriff, and the sheriff is partnering with Rossi. And I absolutely believe that we need to get into the bottom, not only of what these lawyers are doing, but what the sheriff is doing, and partnering with a known sex offender and someone that I'm prosecuting for rape and trying to bring to justice myself.
It's a deflection tactic.
The evidence is so clear that Nicholas Rossi is just a tool on behalf of the local sheriff to try and get to me.
I've only got a minute left, but are you considering legal action? I mean, this is serious stuff, right? Accusing you of being a sex trafficker.
Thank you, Caroline.
Well, my wife is a respected sex researcher at the local university, and she has a book pending on the topic. And this has affected her in a very serious way. And absolutely, we're going to get through this election, win or lose. We're going to get to the bottom of this, because this really cannot stand for what
I can't stand it.
Politics should be. I am going through a tremendous sacrifice of my own reputation to bring a man to justice, and we intend to do just
cry
that.
Me a river.
Voters...
Cry me a river. I'm going through political injustice in my own behalf. Cry me
I hate
a
when
river,
they say
dude.
sacrifice. I'm like, why you all the words to say, don't say sacrifice, and they do. They do. And I try to stay far away from politics, but I can't help where it leads me. Like, I'm not politic. I have no political bone in my body, don't understand it, don't want to, but I know corruption. And corruption, unfortunately, is very prevalent in politics. I mean, they go hand in hand.
And
religion. Exactly. And those things right there control the people and divide the people. And that I can't.
And distract us from the real issues, because the corruption goes across both sides. I'm just going to lay it out there. I'm not afraid of the politics. The corruption goes across both sides, and the fact that they tell you that it's left versus right, red versus blue, conservative versus liberal, is a distraction from the real issue, which is the haves versus the have-nots. The people with money follow the money versus the people that don't have the money, because they're taking it all from us. Whether you're a Mormon, whether you're LDS and you're paying
Catholic,
10%,
doesn't matter.
or Catholic or
Baptist,
non-denominational, they're They're taking it from you. They're
And they're
making
shaming
feel,
you with
yeah, exactly. That
yeah,
was where I was
the
going. They're making
religious
you feel
talk. What would
guilty if you
Jesus
don't.
do?
Yep.
What would Jesus do? And they're
All
good
right.
at it.
All
And
right.
it
That's my
happens
rant.
so much. So you
That's my
can
rant.
have a well, for now. Let me push forward.
We're able to see right through this.
Well, look, we're basically out of time, but
Waiting on him to
I
say
am
it.
going to be following very closely the extradition proceeding that's going to be happening. And again, we're expecting some resolution early July in that.
That's up to the Scottish authorities. The next step in that case will be determined by them. The Utah County Commission will decide next week that they will investigate the sheriff. I look forward to that. That will take place after the election. The election is 19 days away, and I think we'll see where this all goes.
All right. Well, I'm going to be following the Rossi Knight case that you're pursuing, maybe even more closely than your election. But David Leavitt,
I missed the part.
David Leavitt, thank you very much for coming.
Because they say it right here. And I know I have it before. I've seen it before. It says cannibal and sex predator. Or any time on him. Or victim of false allegations.
I missed that. I missed it.
Yeah, me too. So we'll go back to Nor Jasmine's here, where she plays a couple clips.
Office never named Leavitt as a subject of their investigation, but Leavitt this morning called the media to his office to hold a press conference to say that he believed this investigation was improper.
He announced he is not a murderer, a cannibal, or an abuser.
My wife and I were part of alleging that.
Did they just say that for real?
Yeah.
He announced he's not. He announced he's not a cannibal or a murderer, so he must not be.
He called this press conference.
Gosh.
Yes. And he came out and outed himself. Okay. This press conference called by him, David Leavitt, he outed himself as a accused perpetrator. And so that's what blew this wide open. Kind of. But it's kind of been shut again because David Hamblin was let off again. Charges were dismissed in one case, but anyways, it's very complex. Again, there's different counties involved. There's different victims.
I told everybody I'm not a cannibal, so I must not be a cannibal.
Right. So think about something that nobody knows about you, and then say it. But I mean, what he's saying is, Nicholas Rossi, aka Arthur Knight, disclosed the grandma released FOIA docs. Okay. And so that was this whole thing at the beginning of that other news story I just shared, on Twitter, exposing him, who I do believe that I don't know because I don't have anything to back this up though, but it just looks like David Leavitt could possibly be like, and I hate these words, like a handler or something. I don't know.
Just say allegedly. Allegedly.
I know, allegedly, and I mean, I try to.
It covers a multitude. Covers a multitude of crimes.
It does. And that's when my mom asked me. She's like, "How do you talk about all those things?" And I'm like, "I just say allegedly a whole lot. I just do." Like, just cover your ass is the name of the game.
She just turns around in court and points to Lori and says,
"Yeah.
Trusted you."
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's like honestly one of the most
powerful,
emotional and powerful moments that I've ever been in court. And I haven't been in court all that much. I'm not trying to say I'm experienced, but that was just so powerful.
It was a release of all that, not all of it, but a great deal of it at that moment.
Yeah.
Of the emotions,
Yeah. And she did trust. And if she hadn't, like, where would we be now? Where would JJ and Tylee be now? Like, maybe possibly still alive.
Yeah. It's just like when Lori tried to adopt the other baby.
Yeah.
JJ's sister, half sister. And I'm just like, there would be 3 graves. There would be 3 children.
Yep.
I believe. Okay.
I do
it's so sadistic.
Of cannibalizing young children and murdering
I'll back it up.
guilty were part of those allegations, alleging that we were guilty of cannibalizing young children.
So, in my opinion, and I know I've read the documents, I've followed this case for years now, 4 years, and there are these allegations. There's like 17 unsolved, unknown murders allegedly, as well, and how okay. So the alleged victims in the Hamblin case, they accuse people like Leavitt and Shalom, who works for BYU. Teaching sex education, by the way, Shalom. They accused them of going and procuring, I guess you could say, children from the FLDS who are undocumented and allegedly using them for sacrificial purposes.
Isn't that an FLDS thing though? Like I want to hit on that real quick because that is an important point. And one that I didn't discuss. This is where it
ties into Mike Watkiss'
exactly, and I didn't discuss it with him, and I wanted to, and like our time went by so fast. You were late with your questions, and I'm so I'm so mad at myself. Yeah, me too. We both were, but he has agreed to come back, so we're good. We're going to answer some more questions, but like. Isn't that an FLDS intentional tactic to have children that don't get registered in the system?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, and it kind of is a twofold because they also like to bleed the beast. And that is have as many children as possible with multiple women and then also have them be on welfare. So it's like, I wonder, I kind of go back and forth with this in my mind.
Yeah, I'm sure they do too, though. Actually, I'm sure they do too.
But think about the Native American, how he went on to the Cheyenne tribe, the Cheyenne, oh my gosh. What do you call it? He went on to Cheyenne land, I'll just say that, and he has a little girl named Alessandra Fishing Hawk, who was procured. They allege she was procured from the Native American tribe, and it was a woman that he was prosecuting. I can't forget her name right offhand. And anyways, but it's kind of the same thing. Like it's a woman who was the mother of the little girl, she got into a bunch of trouble with the law here. You see what I'm saying? Like with the law. And then I guess in exchange for that, I don't know that, but it appears to look like that, that maybe there was an agreement and he has custody of her right now. Took her to Scotland.
If you have a big organization like the FLDS,
and the LDS.
or the LDS, yes, exactly. And you can have children that are not documented, then you can do whatever you want with them, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And the whole point of that was he said this in many conferences and documentaries, press conference and documentaries, where he says that, he has an agreement with, this is where it ties into Ukraine. And I mean, he even has the Leavitt Institute, which is in Ukraine.
Yep.
And it ties
Isn't
to
that
Victor.
nuts? Like how do we make direct correlations in human trafficking between Ukraine and Arizona,
right here,
Native American lands? Like, how do you?
I've been tracing this back. I've been working on this since the last time we met, and it's wild. Yeah, it is wild, Joe. I swear, it's so annoying because it's so outlandish, and they bank on that too. Though I believe they bank on it to be so outlandish that way people discredit it.
Right.
No need to discredit it because they're going to do it.
Cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
Like if it's so crazy that the normal average everyday person doesn't believe things that don't fit with their mindset. That's the definition of cognitive dissonance. And if you can like twist it so much to your advantage, like
where you're comfortable with it, because that could be happening, right? But you have to just not worship anybody is my advice.
and so people like you and I and Megan, and I was on her channel earlier today with the 2 other former LDS that were on her channel earlier, and that was awesome. Just talking about it, getting it out there in the public is like ground zero, like fighting the battle. But we've got to figure out what ground 1 is, what ground 2 is, what ground level 3 is. Like ground 0 is. Yep. Here we go. Let's go.
So I wrote this too, because I told you I was going to start writing on my Substack so I could just go to it and have all my information in one spot, that's laid out. So I haven't published it yet, but it's just a call to action. And it says, your choice matters. Will you stand with victims or perpetrators of ritual abuse? And I've spent years investigating the dark and disturbing world of ritual abuse, and the facts are undeniable. This is not a satanic panic or public hysteria. Ritual abuse is real, prevalent, and happening in our communities. The first step to solving any problem is acknowledging its existence. Today, I'm asking you to acknowledge this problem and take a stand. Far too long, we have collectively decided to deny or minimize ritual abuse. We have clung to the illusion that such a horrifying phenomenon is isolating or rare because the truth is too difficult to face. This denial has given a free pass to abusers, allowing them to operate with impunity and leaving countless victims without justice. But the tide is turning. Hundreds of victims and witnesses, like the Hamlin girls, whose harrowing testimonies I've shared, are watching. They have lost faith in a system that has repeatedly dismissed their claims. They're waiting for a sign that their voices will be heard. To those of you who dismiss this as a baseless fear, I say this. This is zero harm in adding this enhancement. Okay, hold on, I skipped a paragraph. So it was about the critical piece of legislation sponsored by Representative Ken Ivory, aims to add ritual abuse enhancement. This is a while back. Abuse enhancement to existing child sexual abuse crimes. This is more than a legal technicality. It's a symbolic act of validation. By supporting this legislation, you are telling victims that we believe them. You are giving them a confidence to come forward and start the long process of healing and accountability. If the ritual abuse is not real, no one will be convicted under this law. But if it is real, you will have given thousands of victims the courage to expose their abusers and bring a multi-generational systematic evil into the light. Your decision on this legislation is a choice. You can give ritual abusers another victory by denying their existence, or you can give a substantial number of individuals faith that our democracy can work to effect necessary change. The time for looking away is over. We can no longer absolve ourselves of responsibility. The future of our communities, our society, and our church depends on our willingness to see the truth. This is a call to action. Contact your representatives. Tell them to support Representative Ken Ivory's legislation. Let them know that you stand with the victims and that the era of silence and denial is over. And so that's one. But anyways, it's real, y'all.
It is real. It is real. And it's so funny that you had our video paused on David Leavitt, like during that time.
Oh, yeah. My bad.
Because he's so disgusting. Like I have nothing at all. So I'm going to say allegedly he looks disgusting, but I can't help but believe that he is complicit in something disgusting. And but the call to action,
this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this here. This is what I've done. I don't know if you've not been here, but this is not defamation. This is a call to action. I'm here for victims like Tylee and JJ who didn't have, they don't have a voice. They're dead. I'm here for the Frankie children who thankfully are here. I'm here for Melanie Boudreaux and Brandon Boudreaux's children who were on the chopping block. Okay, that's who I'm here for. And so I don't know.
Half of them were definitely dark, and the other half were probably going to be dark, right?
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Carolina. I don't, it's not defaming. It's like I've read these documents.
Glinda the Good Witch, is she like a troll? That's funny. I love trolls.
I don't think so, but
I love trolls.
I
She's
could
like
be.
saying she's gonna turn us in for defamation. You're gonna get your channel turned in for defamation. Oh no. Whatever shall you do?
Okay, let's turn the channel in for defamation of Leavitt. I don't know what that means. I'm not sure.
I think that's a troll.
And
but
it is. He is connected. He said it himself. I'll go find it. I will just to show. Leavitt is not attached to Ukraine. Okay, hold on. There's only one way to know. And let me
I'm
find
here for it.
It'll take me a little second.
Glinda, you better be here for it too, because I will tell you one thing. If you don't know anything else, Kresha brings the receipts. She brought them to her victim impact statement, and she presented them to Judge Beresky, and he sat there and he watched her in the eyes while she presented the receipts. It was awesome.
Got it. All
right. Receipts.
This in the Native community about a non-Native adopting a Native.
This is not how you adopt a child. This is how you procure a child.
The Fox 13 News investigative team has obtained video of Utah County Attorney David Leavitt talking about how he adopted a Native American child.
The video shows Leavitt explaining how he tried to broker a deal with a tribe in Montana, offering them the ability to export buffalo meat to Ukraine as part of a request he made at the same time to adopt the child.
Fox 13 News investigative reporter Adam Herbets found out why the statements made in this video are part of a long-standing criminal investigation.
From this.
The Tribal Social Services looked at us and said, "We're not giving you this baby."
This video was recorded by a documentarian in 2020. It's 17 minutes long, and it shows Utah County Attorney David Leavitt telling the story of how he managed to adopt a tribal infant in 2017.
Oh, what? You've got receipts? No way. No way.
Yeah. Yeah, from their own mouths. And that's usually what indicts them in their own, like they indict themselves, you know? And it's not just me saying this. It's video raises ethical questions about Leavitt's adoption of Native American child. And so here's the story. And he's going to tell you this, he's going to use this kind of language that, you know, you have to kind of,
let's watch it. Let's watch it.
Finally, this strategy comes into my head. And if you got 5 minutes, I'll tell you the story.
As he describes it, his strategy meant hopping on a plane to Montana, then walking onto the reservation unscheduled to meet with the president of the Northern Cheyenne tribe.
I said, I'm here for two reasons. I said, I'm here to tell you the second reason first. But I'll tell you the first reason second. I said, but before I tell you the second reason, I want to tell you a story.
His story touches on the importance of family. Then it highlights his close friendship with former Ukrainian President Viktor Yushchenko.
Victor and I have this goal of introducing buffalo into Western Ukraine.
Where the knowledge comes from, like his own mouth, his own
buffalo
mouth
herd
on video.
And Ukraine is a sovereign nation, and it doesn't have a buffalo herd, but it wants one. And so I'm here to try and see if we can form a bilateral agreement between the people of the Northern Cheyenne and the people of Ukraine to introduce buffalo to Western Ukraine.
Oh my gosh.
And at that point, you know, he was all ears.
I bet.
And I said, that's the second reason why I'm here. The first reason why I'm here is this, that we want to adopt.
You got to pause just for a second.
He says tribal president.
Go up to Glenda's comment. Where's the paperwork, people?
I know. Saw that. I'm just not sure if we're like, I don't want to I don't like to silence people because that's not my game. That's not what I'm here
Right.
for.
No, I'm
I'm
love
here
to
to
be
hear it, and I
challenged.
want to understand if like I'm misinterpreting, because we take text out of context often. I've seen it happen so many times. But what I'm trying to understand is, do you believe that everything that's contained in these stories and in police files are painting Leavitt as a
Right? Are they a conspiracy
yeah?
This is his own words. Okay, but the word that I wanted to focus on Glenda's comment, and I really do appreciate people that challenge my belief system. I appreciate
Not
it
just
so
yours.
much.
It's like the police belief system.
Yeah.
It's like
Right.
Police
Right.
records,
But paperwork, okay?
and their own words.
We are in a world that's not paperwork anymore. We are in a world of audio, visual, like social media, video files on YouTube, on Instagram, on whatever it is. There's a record of almost everything that everybody's done. And I'm so glad that we didn't have it when I was in high school, but we didn't, and we do now. And we have this guy on video saying what he's saying about this system with Ukraine. So it's not paperwork. Like,
yeah. I mean, if not, then
receipts doesn't mean paperwork anymore. Receipts
Right.
means usually audio video evidence of this
Back it up.
person saying what we said he said, and then him saying what he said. And that's
and it's actually being
exactly
part
what-
of this video is
Yeah.
part of the investigation now.
Yes, exactly.
So,
He
and
said
yeah,
it.
Buffalo,
We don't.
Ms.
We're
Marcy.
we're not saying it about him. He's saying it about himself. We don't
Yeah.
have to. All right.
Yeah. And Miss Marcy says, I just got here. So Buffalo is code name for children. Yes, that's what it appears to be. So it's crazy. And Miss Angry says, politics make me cringe. However, when politics are linked to cases, I think we need to discuss that.
Yeah.
Can you tell everybody? Okay. Help us because it's a challenge.
Story
It
touches
is. I
on the
backed it up.
importance of family. Then it highlights his close friendship with former Ukrainian President Viktor Yushchenko.
Victor and I have this goal of introducing Buffalo into Western Ukraine. And you're a sovereign nation, and you have a buffalo herd, and Ukraine is a sovereign nation, and it doesn't have a buffalo herd, but it wants one. And so I'm here to try and see if we can form a bilateral agreement between the people of the Northern Cheyenne and the people of Ukraine to introduce buffalo to Western Ukraine. And at that point, he was all ears.
I bet.
And I said, that's the second reason why I'm here. The first reason why I'm here is this, that we want to adopt one of your people.
He says tribal president Jace Killsback gave his blessing, but tribal social services did not. So Leavitt went back to the president to try again. Watch and listen to how he describes the tribal president
There
made
is.
a compelling argument to help Leavitt clear that final hurdle and take home the child that same day.
He said, listen, the Levitts are friends of the tribe. He's an asset. They're assets to the tribe for more than just this. I left, and 5 minutes later, the phone rang, and it was the social worker saying, I think I figured out a way to get this child to you.
Jace Killsback has declined to comment. At the time of this interview, he was in prison for fraud in an unrelated case.
Not every child needs to grow up in the city, green grass, white picket fence house. It's best for the Native children to remain in Native communities.
Stephanie Benally, a Native American specialist for Utah foster care, is not just giving her opinion in this interview. She's describing federal law, the Indian Child Welfare Act. It was passed in 1978 to protect Native American children from being adopted by non-Native families.
Prior to the act, 25 to 35% of Native children were removed from their home and placed in non-Native homes.
There's such a prejudice in the Native community about a non-Native adopting a Native.
Leavitt says the child is family. Technically, she's his step, foster, great niece. They might not be related by blood, but ultimately, the tribe gets to decide who's considered family. According to court documents, the child's biological mother willingly gave up her parental rights, but the biological father did not. The court ultimately ruled in Leavitt's favor, approving the adoption.
Let me put it this way.
The stepfather great niece.
I would like our elected officials to be servants of the public.
I was copying and pasting that into the chat.
Yeah.
To help Debbie understand.
Yeah. Stepfather great niece.
Yeah. The child's biological mother willingly gave up her parental rights, which is who he was prosecuting. And then after this exchange happened, allegedly she was driving a gold Cadillac or something like that, around the reservation. They did not get the permission from the dad either at that point.
But Leavitt won his case for adoption.
Yeah. And then brought her to Scotland to the castle that they're remodeling. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
I didn't mean to go so far into this, but
proving
here
the
we
adoption.
Let me put it this way. I would like our elected officials
this guy
to be
allegedly Leavitt,
servants of the public
One
and
of
not
them.
self-serving.
Linda F. Smith is a member of the Utah State Bar Ethics Advisory Opinion Committee. She also taught ethics at the University of Utah for more than 30 years. She says the video is concerning in more ways than one.
He was clearly politicking to get his way. It was a little smarmy, a way to talk somebody into letting you adopt a child that might otherwise be better raised by the tribe.
David Leavitt is the same county attorney who named himself as the subject of a ritualistic child sex abuse investigation. Last month, he announced he is not a murderer, a cannibal, or an abuser. And he accused the Utah County Sheriff of playing politics right before the primary, even though Leavitt was not publicly named.
This is not a politically motivated investigation.
How do you say the word cannibal seriously?
Yeah.
How do you say the word cannibal seriously
I know.
with a political candidate? Cannibal, like the word
and
cannibal.
He volunteered it. It reminds me of that group, wasn't it? The Fine Young Cannibals or something. It was like Good Thing. Where have you gone? I don't know. It was a long time ago. It just reminds me of that movie, Tin Men or something. I think that's what it was from. I was young. I was a child. So, and I did want to show y'all, this is the castle. It plays music, so I'm just going to show it to you. This is in early 2023. David and I purchased Go ahead.
When I was in high school, Spain was my favorite country. I was in Spanish class, and Spanish castles intrigued the hell out of me. I love this.
Yeah.
I love castles.
Yeah.
But you got to have money to own a castle, lot.
Yeah.
Of money.
Yeah. It's interesting. And this is where, in Scotland, is where Nicholas Alaverdian, aka Arthur Knight, the guy at the beginning of this this discussion, I guess, was just convicted of rape in one case, but has another one to go. And so he faked his death and tried to do all kinds of things. And he's pretending to be somebody he's not. This is Shalom Leavitt right here. That was her.
What was he doing in the castle? Was he pretending to be a rich person, or?
No, he was not in the castle. Not Nicholas Alaverdian.
Oh, okay.
This is his wife, Shalom. This is David Leavitt's wife, the politician's wife. And so David has a brother. His name is Michael, who is very interesting. He's, oh my gosh, what's it called? He's an ambassador of a couple of countries. I don't know. It's just fascinating, y'all. It's fascinating. But she teaches sex ed at BYU. She's all
No way. You're making that up.
Yes, wait. I swear. I swear. That's the part that Megan caught on to. She was like, no. And some people choose to not cover this because it invites unwanted, unnecessary even.
So I literally have my best friend from when I was growing up his son attends BYU. So my best friend's son might be taking sex ed from her.
Yep.
Like at some point in his career at BYU. Oh, gosh.
Yep. So there was, hold on, I'm typing something in.
There's lots of guys in safety vests and hard hats. They're doing stuff.
They're being safe. They're doing the safety dance. Okay.
You know what? But a class 3 safety vest has arms to it. Like they're wearing class 2 safety vests. So I don't know if I would approve that behavior. Just saying.
Yeah, this is Goel finally got a website, and so this is it, but dedicated to uncovering the truth behind complex cases of ritual abuse. Our mission is to uncover the unfiltered truth through thorough investigative. I just lost my spot. Through thorough investigative journalism, currently focused on the David Lee Hamblin case in Utah, as they say. Oh, ritual abuse exposed. You got to go see these. Shadows of Power 2. I've watched all these, and I've watched the latest even. This is the LDS Church of Satan. They even talk about marking, like there were generational lists of their ancestors marked with a red or blue color, indicating if they were light or dark, is what I'm going to say. And I'm like, wow, that sounds so much like Lori and Chad's quote unquote system. Wow. What are the odds? This is very informative. This was one of the first things I followed.
Oh, Lynn Packer video on Gordon Bowen. Holy crap.
Yeah.
I got to see that. I have not seen that. I must see that.
I'm Lynn Packer with OUR Video Op-Ed 23.
Well,
the Utah County investigation into a suspected satanic child sex abuse ring. One of the suspects is New York Madison Avenue advertising executive Gordon Bowen. Two of Bowen's close friends who are not suspects, Utah Senator Mitt Romney and high-ranking Mormon apostle M. Russell Ballard. Even though Russell Ballard and Mitt Romney are not suspected of involvement in or knowledge of any ritualistic child sex cult, if one existed at all, both have known for more than a decade that Bowen was accused of having bizarre sexual fantasies, of being addicted to pornography, and of alleged sexual assaults. Later in this episode, possible reasons why they looked the other way. It remains puzzling why Russell Ballard and the LDS Church continued to engage Bowen in its public image campaigns. A recent example of the continuing Bowen-Ballard alliance is a multi-million-dollar movie about Jesus. Ballard and the Mormon Church entrusted Bowen to oversee the project despite Bowen's weird, even eerie notions about the Savior.
Which sound very similar to the things that came out about Jody Hildebrandt and her alleged whatever about the Savior. It was very, very interesting.
So tell me, who is the narrator in this?
This is Lynn Packer.
Lynn. He's a guy.
Lynn, Lynn K. Packer. Yes. Yep. YouTube channel. You can find it. Lynn K. Packer's YouTube channel. He has an op-ed series.
I want to interview him.
You and me both. Shut up. Oh my God. You can't leave me out of that one. You didn't leave me out of this one either. But I mean, I would love to pick his brain and Sandra Tanner. It's interesting. So
But he sounds really old in this, so he's like got to be
But he is investigated. He's an investigative reporter who worked for, I want to say KSL. I'm not sure though, so don't quote me. But he's been there whenever Ted Bundy was being prosecuted. He's been there through all these corrupted type cases.
We had him and Mike Watkins on an interview. How crazy would that be?
That would be phenomenal, in my opinion.
That would be like 10 million people should be watching that. Like if we ever could arrange that, That should be
Yeah, I
like
know.
10 million people watching. But so I'm just going to briefly mention this. I have like 250 people that watched my interview with Mike Watkiss.
That's it.
And that's it. And I had like the last Lori Daybell video that I did before her trial was like 5,000 people. Like overnight, I had 5,000 people. It's just crazy what the consumption rate is with the public, right?
Yeah. If it's, I'm telling you, and it's a damn conspiracy. I'm just picking, but I mean, it's like, whoa. So I have to talk about the bad people
right. You have to talk about them. You have to show them. You have to play video clips for the general public to consume our content. When Mike Watkiss is like one of the OGs of true crime reporting. He was a current affair TV reporter. He was boots on the ground. He was at Brentwood. He was at Brentwood in Los Angeles within minutes of Anna Nicole's body being found, and Ron's body being found.
Oh my God, I watched the hell out of that whole thing.
Right? That was like, I think that was our original like true crime story that got us all like hooked on true crime. I really do.
It was Marilyn Monroe is another one, you know, but she was before my time. But the resemblance or the similarities between Anna Nicole Smith and like, no, I mean, that's not similar, but still, you know, just these sexual icons who ingratiate, or, you know, they just end up involved in some weird stuff and some powerful people.
And so I interviewed like one of the OG reporters that was boots on the ground for Brentwood. He was at Lady Di. He was at FLDS. He was at Warren Jeffs. He was on Warren Jeffs' hit list. Like that's how close he was to that. Yes. Right. So
no, that was Samuel. The Samuel guy. I never can think of his last name. The latest trafficker, I guess you could say.
Right. Oh yeah, he was there too. Yeah, he was reporting on that too.
Yeah.
But not Samuel Jeffs. I know what you're talking about. But anyway, like he's an OG true crime reporter. 250 people watched that interview with him. It should have been 250,000 or 2.5 million because it was an epic interview. But I get 10,000 for a report on Lori Daybell. Like, I don't understand. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I don't understand it either. It's something that I'll never understand. I'm grabbing the link for that interview, and I'm gonna put it in the chat. So anybody,
I'm gonna keep doing it. I'm gonna keep doing where my heart takes me, and I'm gonna keep interviewing, you know, Mike Watkiss. I'm gonna keep going to Hooker, Oklahoma, and finding out and researching London Valdez.
Not everybody has an Elizabeth, like the Kentucky case that's going down right now. She's very brave, man. And I just commend her for doing that. She's local. That's scary. Like to me, just like when I was telling you about the KK Corner murders and the Ellender murders and the Jennings 8, you know, and I'm just like, I don't know if I want to touch it because it's here. And, you know, you get wrapped up in the judicial system and then they kind of can do whatever. A worst case scenario, you know, like if we are to believe that our systems are not corrupt, then, and I think that's delusional to me. Like that to me is some delusional thinking.
Richard Allen and Delphi convinced me more than anything else that our system may be corrupt. Like, I'm going to CrimeCon.
You are?
I am. I'm going to CrimeCon. And Jerry Holman is supposed to receive an award there for like the investigator of the year or some bullshit. And I'm super pissed about it. So I'm going to try and get there. And I'm going to try and ask him a question. Like I have one question for him. And I'll tell you about that later. Yeah, I'm going to wait. I'm not going to disclose that
Thank
question.
you, Trace. Samuel Bateman. Thank
Samuel
you.
Bateman.
Trace
Yeah,
also comes with the receipts.
she does.
And so somebody had asked earlier if the temple, if they had a temple in Kyiv or in Ukraine, and yes, they do. It's says the Kyiv Ukraine temple is the 134th operating temple of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The intent to build the temple was announced by the church's first presidency on July 20th, 1998. And so there you go. Let's look at it. Oh my gosh. Come on. Today. Let's see. Oh, it flipped me back over here. Okay. So this is, I guess, what it's supposed to look like. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's built yet.
Moroni's up there, though.
Oh, Moroni. He's right there. Blowing his, tooting his horn, as per usual. Right. So, anyways, I have so many windows open now. Oh, here's the other one. This is the castle again.
That's the story of my brain. I have so many windows open now.
This is from at Lamanite Living. I appreciate his work. Can you imagine though, like what kind of issues, what kind of problems you have in life? How do you teach at BYU from Scotland? Anyways, just questions I have. They're not relevant, not all of them, but
there are a few of them that are relevant. I'm just going to say that.
Just a few, yeah. Like some are just crazy, but I mean, well, it's just like the question I felt compelled to ask anybody who would listen, and that was Goel of Investigations and Ritual Abuse. He's been investigating it. He was hired to investigate all of this, okay, because it never goes. He got a lot of his information from Lynn Packer, and the OG and all this. And anyway, so I'd asked him one night, he called me and I asked him about how I suspected, or just it was one of these things that I could not dismiss from my mind. And it was the fact that I felt Chad had access to the meeting house 2.6 miles from his house. And I'm like, and I felt more embarrassed to ask him, or ashamed to ask him the question, because I don't want to desecrate anyone's holy place. That's not my intentions here. But I want to ask real questions like, could he have passed his victims through the meeting house and performed some kind of inverted ceremony? Okay. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Like, I just want to know it's a building, and it's like, they're so depraved that it's like people can believe that they murdered, but then they excused Lori and say that, she wasn't hands-on. It was all Alex and yada. I mean, people don't know because I don't know. We were not there. Okay. So she was charged for it, and conspiracy cover, it carries that kind of law. It says that you conspired. That means it's the same thing as committing the actual act itself. So either way, she's convicted of it. She allowed it to happen. Like she made
was
it happen.
Charged for it. She participated in
Convicted.
it. She was convicted of it. She was sentenced for it. But the text messages that we saw in court were huge for me. Like, and I think they were for the jury too. Like, I've interviewed a couple of the jurors, and I think those text messages were like key.
Good.
Like,
because that is their actual intentions. Like, I remember thinking, if ever there was a time that existed, it is now, when we have the kind of investigative tools to be able to show what these people are thinking. It reminds me of Larry Miliete or whatever, who his wife is still missing. I don't even know how that's turned out, actually, now that I say that, but he was going to what do you call him? A spell caster or something, somebody to cast spells. And so that's intent to me. That shows intention of of somebody's mind. You can see their texts, you can see their searches. Corey Richens, Lori Daybell, Chad Daybell, talking about getting people out of their spirits, out of their bodies. And then everybody knowing that when that happens, okay, the body has to die. I mean, come on. It's like, it's so easy, but everything else makes it so complicated. Anyway.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, with Bryan Kohberger with the Idaho 4 case, I was looking forward to Nick Balance squaring off against Cy Ray, because Cy Ray worked for the defense and he was an electronics investigator. Like, he downloaded the gray box reports and he translated them, all of that. And Nick Balance did too, just like he did in Lori's cases, in both of Lori's cases. And he was so good. He was so good on the stand in Phoenix. He was so good at explaining and showing the results of his reports. I was looking forward to that in Idaho, but I'm much more looking forward to the fact that the families don't have to go experience that full trial.
Yeah. But yeah, he did release a video today. Nina Canadian said, and I watched it before I came on.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Jason was crying, y'all. And I mean, some days I can cry and some days I don't, I don't know what it is, but yes, holy crap. It was about 18 or 19 minutes long. It was very emotional, and I can understand, I can and I can't. And he said that he posted this video because he knows that she can watch it, and that's why he did it. And so I'm like, you go, boy, And
what was so impactful about that is that when he testified, when he made his victim impact statement, he did not refer to her as his mother. He referred to her as Lori. So for him to do a statement now that is like his goodbye letter to his mother is like huge. I haven't seen it. I don't know if I can, haven't? But I will.
It's a tearjerker, because he's apologizing, and Jason was, talking to the TV. He was like, "You didn't do anything wrong," and I'm just like, "Oh, okay." So, I just, whenever that happens, people need to feel their emotions, like all of us who end up watching it, and we feel things, and that's how I think some attached to these cases, there's some aspect in the story. Yeah.
That's how we grieve, and that's how we heal. And that's why I appreciate my relationship with you so much, because I didn't even know JJ before I met you. I really didn't. He was a name, and he is so much more than a name now. And so going through this process with you and being able to hug you all sweaty as I was on Simpson Day.
You were.
It was so sweaty.
I was like, oh yeah.
That helps me to process my grief. And I appreciate that so much about my friendship with you. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you too. And you're welcome. And thank you. And I mean, it's kind of it's a weird way that you meet people, like through such tragedy, but it is what it is. It's reality. And I'm just blessed in this sense, because it gives me like access to people who have researched it to the level that I have. Like I can go talk to my best friend and she's like, what? And then I want to protect her from it at the same time. I want to tell her everything, and then I want to protect her, because it just is horrible, Yeah.
It is horrible. And that's why
it needs to be talked about.
Exactly. That's exactly where I was going. How did you read my mind? Like,
I'm a mind reader.
That's why our Tuesday nights are so important, because we have to continue this. And people can't think just because Chad and Lori are going behind bars forever.
Yeah.
And maybe Chad will be unalived someday. Probably not. I mean, that's our system. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. It doesn't matter, because just because they're behind bars and they've been sentenced doesn't mean that we need to stop talking about this, because the problem is not gone away with them.
No, because there's enablers. There's the family, the Cox family. You know, I mean, there's all the things that have not been obviously addressed, because we still have people who say that. I mean, I'm just going to say it so that way I'm not talking in code talk here, but like Rex and Adam, you know, about the whole AI talking to a dead killer.
What the
AI?
Okay.
I mean, it
Right
just
now,
it really is bad.
right now, I know they're not watching this,
Right?
but Adam and Rex, what the fuck? Like,
It's like they're still
seriously,
able
what
to
the fuck?
torture and torment victims, family members, you know,
Don't do
because
it. Don't do it.
because of their
Don't do it.
relative. It's
Yeah.
a little. It makes me think about how Sharon Tate's mom is she's, I believe, who advocated so hard for us to be able to speak to convicts once they're convicted and do our victim impact statements. I believe she's behind that. And so it's like such a full circle, and it's a slap to the face, because I mean, I'm sure in their business venture, they're going to have Charles Manson as a dead killer, you know, a conversation. And it's like, I don't want her to have to see that either, or anyone else for that matter. But
Yeah,
anyways,
the court process ran its case in Charles Manson's case. The court process ran its course in Idaho for Lori and in Idaho for Chad, and in Phoenix twice for Lori. So leave it at that.
Yeah.
How's that? Leave it at that.
Yeah.
It
Drop
ran
it like
its
it's hot.
process. Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely. And I mean, yeah, here's that. I did pull this up a little bit.
Wait, what?
We're just talking about it.
Many
Hold
reasons
on.
to
Let me
believe.
back it up.
Joe.
Who said Joe?
Fucking angry.
Oh.
Tag that Alex shot Charles. They called Alex a hero.
Yeah.
And he
Oh, that's
already
not me
attacked you.
doing it. Just hold
Joe.
on. That's a recording.
This is what makes me so fucking angry.
I've got to go and edit this, but
At that point,
the more I got to thinking about it, the more pissed off I get, the more upset I get.
Yeah.
Is that, you know, they ended their podcast, but yet they're creating an app or something, whatever. That's me trying to record
where
on
they
my
can
other
talk
computer.
to
Dead killers like Alex, and I'm like,
this is the sickest
What?
thing that I have
Oh,
ever.
wait, whoa, hold on.
He's like, what?
Somebody explain, because my head's going to explode. I know,
Right?
I know.
No way.
Rex and Adam have ended the
Oh my God.
what's it called?
Yeah, my computer in my other room is like horrible, and I knew better than to do this, but I did.
Silver
But
lining.
just so you know what I'm talking about.
I know,
Right?
I know.
No way.
Rex and Adam have ended the silver. What's it called? Silver
Linings.
podcast.
They're ending the Silver Linings podcast, and they're starting a new show where they are going to have AI imitate killers from the past, and they're going to have conversations with these killers. serial
Alex, starting with Alex. Yeah.
They've already done it with Alex.
And I was like,
So-
okay.
Wow.
And
This-
I heard go ahead.
This to me violates so many ethical considerations that I can't even believe the idea left their heads, much less got verbalized out loud, much less they're going to actually follow through with it. They're going to have a show where they're going to talk to AI serial killers. Like, how much more
Look.
disrespectful to victims can you possibly
be?
be than
That
to
is
resurrect the person who killed
Thank
their
you.
family members and interact with it in an AI way? This is just absolutely
stunning tone deafness.
Lindy Bridges, you're right. This is disturbing. Now that is disturbing.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to.
It's sick. It's just
Tone deaf. Tone deaf doesn't even begin to describe it.
I know, it's so like insensitive, double speak, because you're there advocating for the victims.
Tone deaf, insensitive, those don't begin to describe the idiocy that is behind that idea. I'm just gonna say that now. Like Rex and Adam, what the fuck are you thinking?
But I mean, I am glad, you know, like just to prove something right now. Like they proved their true colors to me a bit after grabbing the bag, you know, but I'm just saying, I just hope it opened a lot of people's eyes to what's really going on and what they're really all about. And then it sucks because you find out somebody that you followed and maybe felt some kind of kinship with because you connect to the story somewhere, some way, somehow. And then you get let down because it's like, oh, cringe, you know, but I mean, it happens and it's going to happen time and time over and over and over again, you know, throughout our lives. So we just can't, we still have to interact with people, you know, because it's
no, we don't.
Smart.
No, we don't.
But Rex, you just have to be cautious.
Rex was at the trial almost all of the days, maybe all of the days. I don't know. I didn't keep track. I wasn't watching him like every day.
So what did he say when he came out? What did Rex say when he came out?
Hold on. I was at trial every single day. Every single day of trial, I was there. He was the first one to come out to the post press conference. So I honestly don't know what he said.
Didn't he say something about, and I mean, so I wasn't out there to hear it, but somebody said it and I don't remember who right now, but something like, okay, I can give a brief little statement now or something.
Yeah. Right. And then he left and then he came back for like a secondary, like little statement. Yeah.
That was after the sentencing in Arizona, for anybody, in case I didn't make that clear. I have a tendency of doing that. But
July 25th, which was coincidentally the 1-year anniversary of my Charlie crossing the Rainbow Bridge.
Poor Charlie.
So
we appreciate Charlie. I do.
I'm gonna have a little bit of a memorial service for him before I head to CrimeCon. I am.
Okay. When are you going to CrimeCon? Or like about when is it?
So CrimeCon is September 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, something like that. So the first week of September. But I also have a 1-year anniversary show planned for the 31st, which is the last Sunday of August.
Oh wow.
And you're officially invited right now. I just officially invited you.
To CrimeCon?
No.
I'm not going.
To my 1-year anniversary show on the 31st.
I would be honored.
Yes.
Thank you.
I would be
honored.
Too. Yes. And I also met Justin Lum at Lori's trials.
Yeah, I didn't see him. I didn't see him at all. So he must have like not, or I didn't notice him.
He wasn't there every day. He was there like actually less than he wasn't there.
Okay. But I know he usually reports, at least for the Arizona trials. He was in studio and him and Obi or whatever his name is.
Yeah, they did like a virtual thing, which was I think a new thing for him because he did that for her pretrial hearings too. And that's a new thing, but also he was there for some days of her trial. And he and Nate know each other, obviously.
Yeah,
and they were
Nate was right there. I did see that.
I almost literally rubbed elbows with Nate Eden, but that's a whole nother thing. But when Justin was there, he was only there for a few days and then he did the rest of the thing remote. So I couldn't figure out what he was doing.
Huh. I have to cough.
You have to call who?
I have to cough.
Oh, you have to cough. I thought you were calling Justin. I thought you were going to be like, J-Lum, what up, bud?
I do have his number. I do.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I don't even have that.
Have
I don't
Nate's
have
number too.
I don't have Nate's number, but I do have Mike Watkiss's number. And I bet you
Yeah,
don't
let's
have
trade. We need to do some trading. Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna play this real quick.
All right.
And this is just
Yeah.
about her appeals. So that's because that's what this stream is about too. So
We've touched on Lori Daybell a little bit. I know we don't have that much time left, but tell us what the latest update was this morning.
Okay, so Lori Daybell filed her notice of appeal, and that's more of a formality. We haven't seen more details other
for
than
you,
that,
buddy.
but she's filed notice of appeal on her 2 murder conspiracy convictions here in Arizona. She's waiting to be extradited to Idaho. At some point, that's going to happen. We're trying to keep up to date and keep on top of that. She's going to serve the rest of her life in prison. But yeah, she obviously, these were quick trials. She represented herself as her own attorney. And now she's basically filing her notice of appeal and has a new attorney. She's indigent, so it's whoever she gets as a public defender is assigned to her. And we can talk a little bit more about that after the break if you want to. I don't know how much time you have.
I know we kind of opened the can on that. So yeah, if we could just to hang in there for a second and get a little more clarity on
for
it.
sure.
Interesting ride.
It is.
Well, you're watching Fox 10 Talks. Hang with us after.
So we were just chatting right at the end there. We started getting to the Lori Vallow case and where we are at this point. The key thing I feel like I keep hearing from you, Justin, you keep stressing is she's going to serve the rest of her life, every day of the rest of her life in prison. There's also all of these other complications going on too, though.
Exactly. We're just waiting for this. Is supposed to be the end, but we expected an appeal to be filed after she was sentenced on July 25th for conspiring in the murder of her 4th husband and the attempted murder of her former nephew-in-law. She was basically given 20 days to file a notice of appeal. She's made that deadline. And so this seems to be a formality. She has an appeal in Idaho as well for the murder convictions there regarding her 2 children, J.J. Vallow, Tylee Ryan, and in the conspiracy in the murder of Tammy Daybell, who was married to her now husband, Chad Daybell, who's on death row. So she will be somewhat closer to Chad, 2 different Idaho prisons. Chad's also in the same prison as Bryan Kohberger, except Chad is on death row. So we're just waiting for this really to end. Once she's booked back into the Pocatello Women's Correctional Center. But this is a formality, basically.
Speaking of Bryan Kohberger, which I thought was interesting this morning, the reporting that was out that the fellow inmates in the prison that Kohberger had asked the guards, hey, please have these inmates stop harassing me and making life hell for me here. And it's, sir, you're in prison right now.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
I don't see how that'll work. But so we have been checking in with MCSO and they don't discuss, law enforcement doesn't want to give extradition details or plans. So you sort of try to work around that as journalists. So we, reach out.
Okay. Abrupt edit there. But so yeah, she filed a notice of appeal for both her cases in Arizona. Let me make sure I'm not muted.
You're not muted. You're fine.
Okay. For both her cases in Arizona, she was found guilty in 2 trials, one for murder conspiracy in the death of her 4th husband, whose birthday is today, and so is Judge Beresky's, that's Charles Vallow, and the second for the attempted murder of her ex-nephew-in-law, Brandon Boudreaux. Convicted killer Lori Daybell has filed a notice of appeal for both of her Arizona cases. Quote, notice is hereby given that Lori Daybell appeals from the judgment of guilt and sentence in the above entitled case following a jury trial, which was entered in the Superior Court of Maricopa County on July 25th, 2025 by the Honorable Justin Beresky. Read documents obtained from Maricopa County Superior Court. Remember when she thought the Superior Court was like the court, the state, the Supreme Court? Remember that?
The files that she filed in June were just like off the charts and incredibly crazy.
Yeah, I know they're crazy. And this is her Idaho Supreme Court. This is her appeal in the Idaho Supreme Court. So maybe Tuesday. I don't know. Depends on what you want to work on Tuesday.
Does that mean I'm going to see you next Tuesday?
You're going to see me next Tuesday. Yes.
Sweet.
Yes. So, anyways, I love reading people's comments, y'all. Like this, looking more like Mama Fratelli every day. I'm just saying. People are so tired of her and so done, but it's still like I'm never gonna get over this. This changed the trajectory of my life, and
So how
I feel
big?
like there's a lot to be learned still.
Yeah. So, but tell me how big your victim impact statement was. Like how much did that change your healing in this?
It
whole
did.
entire-
It did. I
Okay.
can say that it majorly did. And I mean, I didn't say all that I wanted to say. You know, I very diluted it, which I hate. But I also didn't want to. I don't want to be a problem maker like her. Not there. That wasn't the time or the place. You know, there's a time, there's a place. This is the platform, and so it's like, okay, but it's like I didn't expect all of the unnerving emotions to come up. You know, like I don't know, because I've talked about it every day since it happened. So it's like just another day for me, but
it's
it
not.
felt so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
wasn't.
right.
It wasn't.
Right. It felt so good to know that I walk out of there, my family walks out of there, and we leave her in the dust. And she's no longer relevant. She's fighting to stay relevant. And this is part of her rights. Like I said, she's got those rights, you know, that she denied her own victims, but and continues to. But this is all she has. Like this is such a pathetic life. For what? You know, it's that for what? Why? For what? Just like whenever I met we went to Colby and Kelsey's when they lived in Rexburg, okay, in 2021. And I sat on the floor with Riley and I just stared at her, you know, not creepy or nothing, but just I was just thinking like, oh my God, Lori forfeited this. This is her granddaughter, her first granddaughter. Like this should be like the apple of her eye. And look at where she's at. Look at what she has done and made a real.
She gave up your Uncle Charles.
She gave up
for
her
that-
whole family for Chad.
for that fucking loser. Like
Mhm.
what the fuck? Like
He is.
I don't even get it. There's
And just to
no
look at Riley and see so much resemblance of Tylee. I mean, because I met Tylee when she was 3. So it was just like, whoa, you know, kind of a full circle moment for me to just play with her. I forget what little thing she was playing with, but it was like blocks, but little dolls, little figures or whatever. And I was just like, wow, I can't believe this, you know? And Colby did address this in his video that he put out today about. Okay, I thought I accidentally hit a button.
No, I'm gonna have to watch that. I haven't watched it. I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yeah.
Because I watched his last one, and that fungal meningitis thing is scary as hell. Like just out of the blue.
A goodbye
Here
letter.
it is. I'm just gonna play a little.
I didn't know if I'd ever share this. I didn't know if I've
Let me
ever
go grab the link.
let this out. And I do feel ready to let it out. This
Colby,
is-
don't copyright strike us. Don't do it,
this is
dude.
my letter.
Yeah.
To my mom.
Okay, I put the link in chat. I mean, he's.
I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry that I wasn't the son you needed.
Oof.
I'm sorry I wasn't
You're
the
muted.
man you needed me to be in your life.
It's not
Okay.
you, Colby. It's not
I know.
you.
Well, he goes into it though, and it makes sense.
All right.
It makes sense, you know, it does. I get it. I don't know his struggle. I don't know his. We all have different dynamics in this.
We do. Well, we all have different struggles, and we all have different moms, and we all have different
Yeah.
people that have passed away in our lives, and we have
Mhm.
people that have made mistakes in our lives. So, he totally gets that grace from me. But
Yeah.
Colby, it's not you. That's not you, dude. I mean,
No.
you've made your mistakes. I made my mistakes, but her
It's
mistakes are
never
not
a
you.
child's job to protect their mother or their father. They should never be put into situations like that where they're
No.
in charge of so many grown-up things.
Nope.
Okay. And this is the generational pattern that I've noticed that has happened in my own life, in my own generation, in my own dynamics. And I think that a lot of us resonate with this because we too have been through something similar in the next generation. You know, they all have their, oh, well, that was back then. You know, we all say, well, you know, they married young kids, young ladies back then. Well, it doesn't make it right. You know, like it doesn't mean that they were right and we were wrong, or they were wholesome and we were not, or you know what I'm saying? Like it's
or Colby was wrong and we were right. It doesn't, yeah. Like just to make it real, like the fact that he's coming out and like bearing his soul in front of the world is so powerful.
Hoping
It's
that
so-
she'll see it. That's it's intentional, and I am for that.
Yep,
He's doing
100%.
things with intention, and it's I can share this. I share this with him, I believe, where it's like I want to break her shelf. I want to, and he does that in here. And if anybody from all sides of this can break her shelf, so to speak, it's him. He's the only one that can do it. And that I back him up 144,000%. Okay. I'm here for it. And I'm proud of him. And I just want him to know that it's never his fault. Never will be his fault. It's his mother's fault. And he knows that. And, you know, and hopefully she'll know that one day before it's too late. But it's frustrating, you know, because you want to protect him. You want to protect people like this, you know, because again, it's reminiscent of my own upbringing. And it's like, nobody was ever there to protect me. Okay. So it's like, I want to be protective and I want to protect other children who don't have a say so in this, who are raised up in these same dynamics, who, you know, and it's by showing, you know, it's by example, leading by example. Barbara Brown says you can't fix anyone, but you can sow seeds that maybe will take root one day and grow. Oh my gosh. I'm clapping, you know, like, yes. And it's by example, you know, I believe. But anyway, so, I mean, that's about it on in my area, in my neck of the woods. There's always plenty to talk about. Whether you want to talk about Lori and her appeals, or I've been putting together, like I said, because I was so not prepared. I'm never prepared, it seems, for Tim Ballard, or just to kind of lay it out like I've seen other people lay it out. It's very frustrating.
Do you want to keep showing Colby? Like, because that was touching.
One, I did put the link in the chat. I don't want to share it.
Okay.
Like all the
Okay.
way. I just kind of a
Yeah,
dabble.
I was triggered by his initial statement that when he said when he said I wasn't the son you wanted me to be, I was like,
yeah,
dude,
yeah.
that's triggering for me. That's not
It
okay.
resonates, right, Joe? And so imagine all the people following this case in one way, shape, or form. They connect to these things, you know, and I don't blame them. There's so many of these elements in this story because there's so many people involved and so much going on that it's like it's a lot. And that's why we react with emotions, I believe, and that can be harmful to people as well. You know, because they're like in it and they're not thinking rational. This is how Tim Ballard, I believe, manipulates people with the Sound of Freedom and the human, how it's against human rights, you know, just basic human rights to traffic a person, but they play the emotional music, they play all the things and act like they're heroes, go and save people, and it makes people just forget all logic and not really think it through or not research into this person and their motives. And it's like, holy crap, he is allegedly, in my opinion, he has deceived a lot of people and laughs all the way to the bank and then shames people whenever, you know, we talk out against him. or what
Right.
he's doing.
Well, that's
allegedly.
when people have cognitive dissonance, because it becomes a Mormon thing versus a non-Mormon thing. And if
Mhm.
you're Mormon, then somebody comes to you and says, hey, there's this funky thing going on that I'd like to check into. And you say that to a Mormon friend, the Mormon friend is going to be like, oh, that's crazy. That couldn't be possible to ever happen. Like,
Yeah. But it goes beyond Mormon, like he's excommunicated. So he's a worldwide problem, in my opinion. Like it's something
it
going
is.
on, and it
It
goes all
is.
the way up to the higher governmental echelons, and that's just something. It is what it is. Like I didn't do it. I'm just pointing. I'm following the money, pointing, and then so don't get pissed off at me. Go get pissed off at them. I don't know.
No, but the Mormon aspect, I think, comes into it because
Because
then Mormons want to deny it.
yeah,
Like,
and that's what they've done to Tylee and JJ, Charles, Tammy, and Joe. I mean, their own
Exactly.
people. And I'm like, how do you deny it? Their deaths are not in vain, and I'd be damned. If you're going to continue to think you can distance yourself from it, because you're not. We see it all. Those who matter, we see it. Like we're just waiting on you to look in the mirror and admit to yourself that yes, they are one of us. They are one of me. I do the same kind of things. Maybe I haven't checked myself. Maybe I'm not being real with myself because I'm living in an echo chamber. I mean, I'm just saying it's not like I don't get pleasure out of this. I don't ever want anybody to say, "Oh, you were right." I don't want to be right. I don't, but I see it. If I'm being honest, I don't want any more of these kids to be hurt. Quit casting out demons. Okay, they don't die. People don't die. So don't think that you have that right to do that, Uh-oh, you're muted again.
How's that?
I'm all about not silencing people. Stop.
Quit declaring people to be dark or light.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
how is
so
that?
dehumanizing.
How is that a thing? Like, how do you have the power to do that? Well,
That Jesus didn't do that.
No, he didn't.
He didn't.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Chad did.
Yep. I mean, and they both, I wonder if, so I watched Jumpsuit Pablo's video, about Bryan Kohberger. Oh, he has an insider or whatever. I pulled it up though. I'm sorry. We'll exit on this. I think I'd played a little bit of it the other day, but I'm not sure. Let me fix my ass back here again. Oh yeah, I know.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
Such a beautiful, beautiful person there. Not. But just Jumpsuit Pablo. I appreciate his coverage on this. It's just interesting.
Actually arrived at a maximum security prison.
Let me put this in the chat.
Specifically, Cell Block J. But he's not the only infamous killer in that very cell block. He's actually just a few feet away from Chad Daybell.
Can you imagine?
I
love this guy's voice.
Hold on.
Cell Block J inmate.
I was putting some in the chat.
love his voice. He's like,
He's got a good voice.
he's just a few feet away from Chad Daybell. It's so
Yeah.
dramatic. I love
He
it.
served in prison, so he knows. I have a cousin that served in prison in Florida with the Ted Bundy. So whenever they executed him, the lights went out in the prison. I need to invite him on.
Yeah, you do.
My cousin
Like,
Mikey.
I want
Yeah.
to be there just as like a third party, just to listen, because that would be cool.
This is my family. My family was in the prison too. Again,
My
I've
family-
got some. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
my family's not exempt. My family's not exempt. Everybody's isn't. Like,
Chad Daybell has I think like a great grandfather or something that was also in prison, and he wrote about it in his whatever biography, whatever it was, One Foot in the Grave, and he said that
autobiography
I
type
forget what
thing.
he said about it. Maybe somebody knows, but I'll have to dig it up to just be like, whoa,
Okay.
maybe you are a prophet.
You have this picture pulled up right here, and hopefully this is like one of the last times that I can ever make this comparison. No, Chad.
Okay.
Chad. How did Lori ever dump your Uncle Charles for this guy? Like, for real, he is the loserest of losers. He's a chump. He's a chud. Like, he's like, I mean,
I don't know. I don't have that. I've tried.
Okay.
Oh, Megan, if you're still here, and Joe, you got to see this. So I made something. Okay, y'all ready? And
oh, geez. Oh no.
Anyways, I didn't do it. I didn't do it with the music. But here's another one. Pot Stars Unite. Little pot back there. Anyways,
Trace on the Case has made.
Oh, I got it pulled up.
Oh no.
I think if that's what you're talking about.
She did one of me driving the food truck.
Oh.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
No. Oh no, there it is.
Why it's like that.
I'm there.
That's Trina Kay, Megan, and Joe. So hey, it's what we do in our
that's
time.
Hilarious. That's hilarious.
We do. Trace. She made some for all of us, so
I got my aviators on. Those sunglasses. Yeah.
Here it is. I don't know why it's put them in the corner. That's weird. But it looks like some good vegetable soup right there, and you're making me hungry, Joe.
I am a little bit hungry. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. It's Sunday. It's a good roast day or something.
Right, and it's not fast and testimony day, so we can eat today.
Yeah, I want to play this though. Just this little part. This is before the video came out.
From the information given to me by an inmate currently located in Idaho Maximum Prison's J Block, Bryan Kohberger is not directly housed straight across from Chad Daybell in that cell block, but he is located at somewhat of a diagonal angle
Shepherd's
to where
pie.
when looking out of their
Oh
very
my God.
narrow cell door window, they can just barely see each other. And trust me, this will be important in just a few minutes when we get to another part of this video.
There you go.
Ice pick, mother. Nah, bro, you can't. This is my shit now, bro.
Oh, that's so dangerous.
You hit a lot with that shit, it's over with, bro. It says
So sit tight. From what I'm being fed by this third-party inmate, it seems a conversation was struck up by several people the first night that Kohberger arrived. Obviously, everyone knows who he is, just like they knew who Chad Daybell was. And so it's kind of going to follow the same pattern. A lot of just greetings or just questions or just, just things being shouted out. And by the way, when I say shouted out, this is getting into the hows and the methods of communication. Immediately, you got to understand everything is concrete and cement and metal in these cell blocks. Inmates are getting down on the floor on their belly, and there is probably a 1 to 2 inch crack from where the bottom of the door does not meet the floor, the concrete floor. And so inmates, when they really want to get a message to someone, they will get down on their belly. And sometimes inmates spend an hour, 2, 3 hours, if you're having a really good conversation down there on that floor, but they will press their, mouth almost to the crack. Pause. Don't get any dirty prison thoughts in your mind. They will put their lips to the crack of that door and the floor. And they will yell out, "Hey, Kohberger! Hey, Kohberger! Hey, Bryan!" Whatever they call him. Who knows if he's already got a prison nickname? Let me know in the comments below if you think he already has a prison nickname and what you think that nickname is. I think my next question, I know this isn't hard-hitting news, but I think I'd love to know, listen, as a guy who's been there for a decade, I don't care what your name is, what you did, where you're from, or what you look like. You're going to get a prison nickname. You're gonna get one. I'd love to know
Megan
what his
says lips
prison
to the
nickname is.
crack.
So I think that's good. I'm after this video, I'm actually going to ask, does he have a nickname
Hey
yet?
girl.
Let me know in the comments down below what you think his nickname would be. But inmates are gonna shout out, hey, Kohberger, hey, cell, blah, 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 whatever cell he's in. They're probably going to say some things or ask some things. But once that kind of blew over, he did make contact with Chad Daybell, who was in the same cell block J. Now, according to the inmate, see, when you shout out, it echoes, and so it carries. So yes, the person you're talking to will hear it, but so is every single other inmate in that cell block. And so sometimes, if you have something harmless or just something,
I've wondered that too, Love Always. Like, are some of these conflated, because it's like people are like, oh, they know, they hate child killers. They hate people who do this and that. And I'm like, do they? Do they really? Is that really how it goes down? Of course, I don't want to find out in real life, but do they? But for now, this is what I have to bank on, but I don't know. And it just makes me wonder. I think because growing up with my mother that was constantly lying, it is physically hurtful for me to listen to someone lying. I can feel it. So there are some that do conflate these things. I do agree with you there. I followed one of them already. Sure did. Then I was like, oh yeah, no, definitely don't want to do it. But I don't know. But he was just basically saying that they talked through the cell and that, let me see if I can get to it.
Based off what Chad inform Bryan on what he should expect
Chad,
or what he
allegedly
could expect from some more aggressive, dangerous, powerful inmates. Because
so what he's saying is Chad basically was trying to help Bryan Kohberger if their cells were adjacent, across from one another. This is what is out there
of how well
Yeah, I don't think Chad's superpower skills at helping his co-inmates are as powerful as Lori's superpower skills.
They all have portals though. They all have that stainless steel portal. And for that,
she's still waiting for that to come up in her toilet. she's waiting for that return love letter to come up in her toilet.
So me and ERP Thompson Queen, we agree on this. I still speculate that the reason I think Lori threw over Charles was that Chad was I don't want to say it, maybe hung. He'd have to be, because there's nothing else above the belt that is even, I don't know. It has to be hidden because I don't know. Did Chad label Bryan dark? Megan wants to know. And Love always says, ask your brother, Kresha. I'm sure you would get thrown in the hole for being disruptive. He has been. He would volunteer to go in the hole because he didn't like people. Yep. You can't do stuff like that. I agree. And I will as soon as I can, as soon as he's out. And again, I have my cousin Mikey who was in prison with Ted Bundy when he was executed. So that is interesting.
Todd needs to come on. Like when he's ready to come on, Todd needs to come on. Like that would be so amazing.
Yeah.
He was so his victim impact statement was so simple but so powerful.
It was sincere and genuine.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. He's a man of little words, and he was just he stayed true to himself, And there's that part where Todd says, I trusted you with my family. And he says that because, or I think he says that. I haven't been able to ask him about that yet. But one time whenever JJ and Uncle Charles came in, it was 2018. And Todd got to meet JJ for the first time since he was a baby at my mom Trahan's house.
Oh my gosh.
Uncle Charles was there. My mom was there. I was there. And so after that, they went over to my mom's. I was not there. So this is what Todd told me. That JJ was sitting. My mom has this long table. Forget what you call it. Anyways, long table, and it's got the chair at the head, on each side. And so they were sitting across from each other, just like that. I guess like a business meeting table, what do you call it? Conference table. Yeah. And JJ had two red Solo cups. And he had one with chocolate milk and one with Kool-Aid. And he had a straw in each one of them. And they were both going into his mouth. And he was just sucking out of both straws. Kool-Aid mixed with chocolate milk. Okay. And so he looks at Todd and he says to his real dad, you know, that he doesn't know that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just got to be so surreal for Todd, you know, when he described this to me, that he said, Todd, where's your family? And, you know, there's my brother looking back into his son's eyes thinking, you are my family, you know? And I remember reading a while back a statement that my brother had written about JJ, and he talked about this. You know, you asked me, he was talking to JJ, and he was like, you know, you asked me, Todd, where's your family? And he learned about how Jesus in the the family, you know, like our brothers and sisters, our humanity, basically. And so it just is deep, you know, because it goes so back.
How do you
do
that? How do you make me fucking cry like almost every time we talk
I
about
don't know. It's just because I think of these things. I don't mean to, but it's powerful. It's powerful.
It is so powerful.
Yes. Because it's real, and these things do happen, and people do experience these kind of losses in their lives, you know, where you grieve someone that's still alive, you know.
Okay, but
whether
you don't grieve someone that was killed by your non-biological aunt. Like,
right.
That's not normal. That is not fucking normal. So
I know.
I'm just gonna say it.
But, yeah, the cycle of life,
Chad.
it definitely was not natural. You know,
No.
They did not meet their demises via natural causes. So that's the extra betrayal thing here, is you don't play God. Please, you don't. Okay. I don't care what, you don't get to do that. You don't get to infringe on someone else's human right to live, you know. Let nature, if it's meant to be, you know. I don't know. And I mean,
I know.
There's a lot of
I'll
people
answer
doing
it for
this.
you. That's wrong.
Yeah.
It's just fucking wrong.
It is.
And
it is.
JJ and Tylee were fucking beautiful, and your Uncle Charles was fucking beautiful and amazing, and that's not right that we have to do this. It's not fucking right.
Yeah. It's not. Oh, I keep missing the comment. It kept going. Angela says it's a beautiful moment that they shared together.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm sure he's glad that they got to share that, you know, but can you imagine you're looking across the table from your son into his own eyes, and he's saying, where's your family? And you're like, you're my family, you know, like that's what but you can't, because you're protecting him, right?
Right.
It's crazy. I have never heard of this, the telepathy tapes. I'll have to go check it out. Yeah. Now we had Kelsey in here the other day, like she came, but I don't know. I haven't asked, but
To each their own. Everybody's got to have their own path to recovery and healing. And that's why I'm glad you got to have your victim impact statement, and so did your mom and your family.
And Larry.
Yes.
I visualized, I'm telling you, I visualized Lori dancing by the damn fire. I mean, that's how
right.
It's like the way it was in the courtroom. It's like Larry was in my lap, but I mean, he was way on the TV projector screen across from me. But I mean, that's how much like I listened, you know, like powerful. I'm like, whoa, yeah, it was uncomfortable, even, you know, like, whoa, girl, you are getting your ass. He's mad, you know, like.
It was uncomfortable for you. Imagine what it was like for her. And that's
if she has a conscience, though.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know. That's debatable.
Yeah, it is debatable.
Yeah, I think so. I'm telling you, I pictured her by the damn fire. But anyways, you have anything to say closing or?
Love always wins. That's what I'm always going to say.
It does. I did actually load this one up, so we'll leave on this note. Okay. So I'm
Okay.
going to leave us up here, but I'm going to play this. It's going to just kind of go in the middle of us, but.
A, B, C. Say your ABCs, JJ. Say your ABCs.
ABCs.
A, B, C, D.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, J, J, K, L, M, N, N, B. Q, R, S.
It's adorable.
T, Q, R, S. T, U, V. W, X, Y, and Z. No, I know I, A, B, C's. Max, I would choose a good way.
Yay! Say hi, Mama. Hi, Papa. Say hi, Mama. Hi, Papa.
A, B, C.
Say hi, Mama, and hi, Papa.
Mama, hi, Papa.